Welcome to the 2026 Nucinda Credit Union NMAA State Basketball Playoffs. Tonight's game is presented under the authority of the New Mexico Activities Association with rights purchased by New Allmark Broadcasting and Cool 95.7 Sports. Tonight's game is brought to you by IPS Incorporated, Forest Tire Company, R360, TDS Telecom, Lasco Construction, Hydratech Services, Thriftway and La Tienda Grocery Stores, Hobbs Express, and Eunice Pump and Supply. Hobbs Eagle Playoff Basketball also brought to you by DNC Electric, Burrito Beast, NMR Pipeline, SunGuard Precision, NMJC, The Coffee House, Rent-A-Center, and LECO. Welcome to Tasker Arena. It is time for Hobbs boys basketball in the 2026 playoffs. I'm TJ Miracle, and here's the voice of the Eagles, Ty Friend.
Well, it should be an exciting one tonight. Your Hobbs Eagles taking on Oregon Mountain in the first round of the state playoffs. Of course, the winner will play quarterfinals coming week on Wednesday. But final home game for the Eagles, and it's been kind of a pretty much traditional for Hobbs to host that first round. There's been a few years where they haven't, but I can't really remember when that was. But still, I mean, this is a good game for the Eagles to get tuned up for. They played this team before, TJ, as you know. 1 point win on the road. It was kind of a road trip for Hobbs in that one. They also had Centennial that week, which is another up-and-coming team from that district as well. But very important win here for either team, because you don't win this one, you're going to be staying home in Hobbs' case, or going back home to Las Cruces and not going up the interstate up to Albuquerque next week. But regardless, Hobbs had that big win last week, knocking off Carlsbad District Tournament Championship 48-43, the third time they had played that team, to get the crown for both the regular season and the district tournament. So that gave them the two-punch on the ticket. Also, by beating teams like Albuquerque High, for one example, beating Centennial for another example. It's a couple other teams, Sandia too. Hobbs moved themselves up a few slots in the Max Preps poll towards the end of the season, and also moved ahead in terms of the seeding, which those were earlier games before the APS Metro tournament, but still, I think that really put them over the hump to get to that number 5 spot.
Well, I think you're absolutely right. A lot of times what you do in that district, you think, well, because we've got all these at-large seeds and all the at-large bids, it really doesn't matter, but it really does, because I think if Hobbs has some problems in district, maybe doesn't win at least one half of the district championship, I'm not sure we're talking about having a game here at Tasker Arena. They lose either one of those district tournament, either the district tournament or the regular season championship, we're probably down around 8-9 and somewhere on the road this weekend, or maybe just squeaking in to the home game and giving you a much tougher draw going through. So very important, I think, that we are at home here tonight.
And I know those 8-9 games are just so a mess. You hate playing them as a coach because it's either team can win. You saw that last night with the Lovington girls.
Well, and it was a back-and-forth slugfest affair there. And, of course, Lovington finally getting the Portales monkey off their back, winning 41-40. The same happened in the 2A girls with Jowl, number 9, going up to play number 8 McCurdy, and Jowl getting the win there too. So that's one of those, take-your-pick games, but you're looking at a 12-5, and traditionally, especially in the NCAA tournament, but we've seen it here in the NMAA tournament more times than I can count over the last at least 20 years. This is kind of that trap game where the 12 a lot of times will come in and knock off the 5. And this is a team under Coach Ricky McBroom, who's well known here in southeast New Mexico from his years as an assistant and then the head coach at Portales. He knows what to expect out of these Hobbs teams. And as you mentioned earlier, these two teams played incredibly tough down in Las Cruces back in December, just a 1-point Eagle victory then.
And really to give evidence to what you just said about the 5 and 12 seeds, they were a victim last year of that exact situation. This Oregon Mountain team lost as a number 5 seed at home. Farmington came down there and beat them in the first round 56-49. So they got a sour taste in their mouth from last year. McBroom was not the coach last year, but he did pick up the squad this year, so he's going to try to erase that sour taste.
Well, he is going to try, and he is a very experienced coach. Of course, he was an assistant for his dad for I don't know how many years there in Portales, and they had an awful lot of success, put a couple of 3A, 4A state titles on the board during his time there, not while he was the head coach, but while he was the assistant. And I actually did see the elder Coach McBroom wandering around as we came in earlier today. There may be a little coaching from the stands going on there too. Look for, what we saw with Portales and what you saw with Portales for years. They're going to press when they think they can. Then they're going to back off. You mentioned this is a team that likes to shoot a lot of threes, and I was actually looking at the box score from when they played down there, and they do like to take an awful lot of threes. And, of course, as soon as I say that, my stat sheet for that one goes missing. But there it is. It was just hiding under the rest of them. Yeah, they took 19 three-pointers in the ball game and made 8 of them, 42%. So it's one of those kind of things that can keep them in a ball game. Now, on the flip side, during that game, Hobbs took 23 attempts at the threes. They made 8 of them, too, for 35. So really that kind of negated each other out.
Yeah, and if you look at their top three-point shooter, they got a couple of guys kind of battling. McDaniel has 59 on the season converted, and Popescu with 51. So there's a combined 110 three-pointers for the season between just those two guys. They definitely can shoot the lights out. But, of course, you look at the Hobbs Eagles and a kid like Soria. He's in the 60s right now with three-point shots for the Hobbs Eagles program, and he can really streak it. He had 19 against Carlsbad and really came back on. He had a couple of lower-scoring games, but really drilled the threes when he needed to in that game last week. 5 trays against the Cavemen.
Well, very important to get that and get that going when you can. And, you know, it's a good thing. Hobbs is, you know, they're still fairly young when you look at it, but they are very deep. They've got 4 guys scoring in double figures, led by Malachi Beatty, just under 15 points a game at 14 point. Malachi David. I can't read my own handwriting. 14.9 points a game. Braddock Beatty with 12 points a game. Lyric Soria with 13.6 a game. And Josiah Clay just under 11 a game with 10.8. So that gives you a lot of options on the floor if you are the Hobbs Eagles. And just a couple of players, 3 on the other side that are in double figures. Emmett McDaniel just under 15 points a game. Nathaniel Pete, 13.5 a game basically. And I love the name, Maximus Popescu with 12 points a game. They're the leading scorers for Oregon Mountain, all in double figures.
Now, there's kind of a topsy-turvy district with Oregon Mountain, too. I mean, really kind of a strong back-and-forth tussle going on between those 3 teams at the top of the leaderboard. Of course, Centennial, Las Cruces, and Oregon Mountain, just about a game between those 3 squads. Centennial finished 8-2, Oregon Mountain 7-3, and Las Cruces 7-3. But in the games that they lost against some of those opponents, that was when they were shooting in the 30s for field percentage. That's definitely what Hobbs has got to take advantage of, is to try to get the contested shots out there to make it hard for them to get the numbers they want. Las Cruces lost to them 74-51. They did split with them, but lost to them by 23 in one of those games. Despite getting 9 trays in the game, as a team they shot 35% from the field. That was a big loss there and had 13 turnovers. So they have to watch their shooting. They lost to Centennial once by 11. They were 32% in that game from the field, but had 6 three-pointers. So they have to, if they're missing the threes, they got to crash the boards. That's going to be a big deal. Same with the Hobbs Eagles, too. We're a streaky shooting team. When we seem to get one going, we get a few more after that. But if you start off cold, you got to have people underneath in the lane to take care of the boards for you. Otherwise, this transition game going to the other end.
And cleaning the glass, we see it and we talk about it seemingly every game, every season. A lot of times, not always, but predominantly, the team that wins the rebounding battle is probably going to win the game because they take opportunities away from the other team on the defensive glass, and they give themselves more opportunities when they wipe the offensive glass down, and that just gives you more chances to run the scoreboard up. And in a close-fought game, that can wind up being the difference.
And Hobbs had 13 more rebounds than their opponents in district this year, 196 to 183, about 2 per game. On the turnovers, another real good stat for Hobbs. They had 23 less turnovers than Carlsbad, Roswell, and Clovis combined, about 11.9 a game compared to 15 for their opponents, so 3 less a game than those other squads. And three-point shots, currently as a team, we're averaging 5.7 a ball game, but right now, Oregon Mountain is over 6 a game, so they get about 1 more on the average more than what the Eagles had. Of course, there's been some different opponents. They do have quite a few common opponents. They played, Oregon Mountain played I think they played every single district team that Hobbs has in their district, and had mixed success with some of those games. But still, I think this is going to be a game of who's going to convert the outside shot, who's going to get those rebounds and possess it, especially on the defensive glass, and keep their turnovers down quite a bit. This Oregon Mountain team does not turn the ball over very much. In fact, in that game against the Hobbs Eagles, the Hobbs won by that single point. They had total of, 6 turnovers. Hobbs had 16, 10 more turnovers and still won the ball game.
That is a very telling stat. It means Oregon Mountain really likes to take care of the basketball, and when they have it, they're going to find a way to keep a hand on it and to make a shot. So if they get hot, that could wind up being a difference. So if you're Hobbs, look for the opportunities for the turnovers and try to limit as much as you can the number of times you give it back to them.
You mentioned Nathaniel Pete, too, one of their top scorers, second with 13.4 a game. Hobbs held him to 8 points in that contest they played this season. All his points coming from the free throw line. He was 8 of 17 from the stripe. Hobbs did a good job, but the problem was he penetrated a lot. That's what got him on the foul line quite a bit. But he was about 5 or 6 points below his scoring average. Although that McDaniel kid did most of his scoring in the fourth quarter, he had 13 of his 21 in the fourth with a couple of 3 trays in the fourth quarter. Again, the three-point shot kind of hurt the Eagles as that game progressed. They got 8 trays against Hobbs. But at the same time, Eagles able to throw up some threes too. They had actually one more, 9 total. Definitely a great outside shooting with Lyric Soria lighting it up for 6 trays and 21 points in that win.
Well, that is very important. You know, when you mentioned Nathaniel Pete, and I mentioned him earlier, he's not in the starting lineup tonight, I noticed, for these Knights. I still want to call him Oñate, the Oregon Mountain Knights. He's not a starter, but he'll be coming off the bench. It's a really valuable piece if you've got a 6-man that can come out and put double digits up and be effective from the line.
It's also good to know that Malachi David is back, of course, for our team. Last week he did not play against Carlsbad. We still got the district tournament championship. Hendrick Sullivan, he's back. He had an injury. Malachi was sick. Sullivan was injured. Of course, Sullivan also plays baseball, so he's getting ready for that season right after this, but I'm sure he wants to win a state championship first. But nice to have David back. Of course, one of the top scorers for the Eagles, 14.2 a game. Leads the team in rebounds at 7.6. And surprisingly for a big man, 32 three-pointers, 30 less than Soria, but still a big man shooting from the outside. Nice, smooth release and follow through from the three-point line.
Well, it just means you're a complete player when you have the ability to do that. And you're actually seeing that more and more in the college and the pro game, too, where you'll have the big men be able to step back and take that shot. It really gives a coach and a team more options. For years, how many years did we see, the old Kareem Shaq, get it back in, hook it up, and get it and run down the floor. But then you really started seeing it change with like Kevin Durant, who can step back and take the three, and he's a big guy. And if Malachi David can really bring that in, and it adds a dimension to what Coach Ronald Ross wants to do.
And I think he does have to get physical, though. I mean, this is a team that's hungry. They got beat in the first round last year as a 5 seed. New coach, right now doing pretty well in their district as they finished up in the top 3, but they want to move on to the next round. Hobbs has got to have a kind of a committee of rebounders, which they did in their first win against this Oregon Mountain squad. A lot of guys getting 6 rebounds apiece. Beatty, David, Soria, and Clay all getting 6 rebounds. And Hobbs 29-28 on the boards, and also the very close 1-point win, too. We said this many times this season in terms of the rebounds. When Hobbs has more than a couple guys going to the glass, they might not have 20 points each, but going to the glass, helping out on the boards, not taking a one and done on a 3-point shot, getting mad and just, jogging back, but crashing the rack and not just taking a 3 when everybody's out in the perimeter. You got to have somebody in the paint there to go up and clean it up.
Well, you do, and important, and as you mentioned, when you have those guys, it means that you're playing unselfishly, and you've got people that they're not quite sure who to go take, because you're going to have guys who are crashing the glass, all capable of doing it. And again, I've talked about it. We'll keep talking about it, I'm sure. The more options that you have, the deeper you are, the harder it is for the other team to defend on just about any particular play. And that is a good thing if you're the Hobbs Eagles. So they are turning the lights out for the sizzle reel. We will take a timeout, come back with the starting lineups and the tip-off. This is Hobbs Eagle basketball here on Cool 95.7. Tasker Arena on KLEA, Hobbs Lovington, Cool 95.7. The Hobbs Sports YouTube channel, HobbsAmerica.com, and the Cool 95.7 Facebook page. The opening round of the 2026 Nucinda Federal Credit Union NMAA State Basketball Playoffs as the number 5 Hobbs Eagles taking on the number 12 Oregon Mountain Knights. With Tiff Stuber in studio engineering and producing, I'm TJ Miracle, and with the call, here's Ty Friend.
Quickly run down the starters for your Hobbs Eagles. Braddock Beatty, Malachi David, Lyric Soria, Josiah Clay, and Jaden Hernandez. In terms of scoring this season, 4 players averaging in double figures for the Eagles. David at 14.2, 12.9 for Clay, 12.5 for Soria, and 10.5 for Beatty. That's a real nice foursome to have up there, double-digit average. Top rebounder David with 7.6 a ball game. Also shooting pretty well on the free throw line at 76%. Of course, Soria is the leader with 3-point shots at 62 this season. Definitely a good outside shooter, and had those 5 against Carlsbad last week. He and David combined for 94 three-pointers for the Eagles this season out of the 154. Eagles averaging 5.7 trays a ball game. Hobbs is shooting 66% from the charity stripe this season and averaging 13.9 turnovers a ball game. And looking at the Oregon Mountain squad, their starters, Jaime Renteria. We're going to go with Max Popescu instead of Maximus. That is his official name, and we'll make it a little easier on the court there. Emmett McDaniel, one of their top scorers, Josiah Rogers, and Logan Cargis. In terms of the point production for this team, you definitely got to be careful about some of their big kids, including McDaniel. He's averaging 14.9 points a game, the leader. First in assists at 3.1, steals 2.1, and first in threes with 59. He's an all-around stat guy. You got to watch him all over the court. Pete averaging 13.4 a game, tops and rebounds 4.4, and Popescu with 12 points a contest. He is also second on the team with 51 trays. They are shooting 3% lower than Hobbs on the free throw line, 63%, but shooting from the field 42%, 11.7 turnovers a game, 8.9 steals. They have about 6.6 threes converted a game, so they definitely can shoot the lights out. Got to watch out for McDaniel and Popescu in terms of the outside shot. TJ should mention one other thing, too. Hobbs had some issues with free throws against Carlsbad. They were 8 of 23 from the charity stripe in the 30s. They definitely got to convert those free throws. This Oregon Mountain team had a lot of opportunities in their game. They only shot 50% against Hobbs last time they played. Hobbs is in the 50s also. They both had trouble with the free throw line, but Hobbs has got to improve from last week's numbers too.
Well, they certainly do. The free throws can make all the difference in a ball game. Saw that last night in the 4A girls game. It was Lovington last night shooting 76% from the floor or from the free throw line, while Portales only shot 41%. It was those couple of free throws at the end of the game that made the difference in that one-point contest.
Oregon Mountain averaging 63 points a game, Hobbs at 59.8, so Oregon Mountain has the advantage by about 3 points in the offense, but Hobbs a better defense. Oregon Mountain's giving up 59 points a game, Hobbs at 53, 6.6 points less than Oregon Mountain. So there you go, kind of average it out there. Offense for Oregon Mountain, defense for the Hobbs Eagles. These two teams have played several different common opponents this season. In fact, 9 total opponents. They played all the district teams that the Eagles play as well and had mixed success. They lost to Roswell, Oregon Mountain did, by 15, and Carlsbad by 17. Did beat Clovis by 9. And, of course, the Eagles finished 5-1 in district.
Well, they certainly did, and the Eagles, the champs out of their district. Oregon Mountain tied for second out of theirs. So here we go as we get ready to jump this one up. The opening round of the playoffs. It is win or go home. Winner will play the winner of La Cueva and Atrisco Wednesday morning, and we hope it is the team in black and gold.
Hobbs Eagles wearing their white home uniforms, the black and turquoise for Oregon Mountain. As we get ready for Malachi David to jump it up, he's got a big size advantage at the center, and he able to get the jump as he converts that one against Cargis for the Hobbs Eagles to start it off here. In the front court is Lyric Soria, gives it off to big man David on the right wing, back door to Beatty, but it's stripped in the air and taken on the first turnover by Emmett McDaniel. First Eagle giveaway, pass to the right corner, 3 on the way for Popescu at 3, and that's not the way you want to start for the Eagles defense.
No, it is not. They lost him, they turned it over, and the transition game got him right there. Popescu makes him pay.
Little trap action across the timeline. A high pass from Soria to Clay on the far left sideline. Takes a few dribbles, jump stop, uses it up. Dump it in low to David. Ball stripped out of his hands by a little guy, Jaime Renteria. Already 2 turnovers for the Eagles.
Not how Hobbs wanted to start. Time to take a deep breath, regroup, and see if you can get back in this one.
Handoff in the front court from Renteria to McDaniel, far right side. Slides left off the dribble, guarded by Beatty. To the near side, stripped by Beatty, loose on the sideline in front of the Taskovich Bandits, recovered, passed down to the left corner to McDaniel, dumps in the lane, reverse layup, miss, blocked as Lacargas went up with it, pulled down for the Eagles by Malachi David, got the block in the board, and throws it ahead Hernandez. Up top to Soria in the half-court offense, a 1-2-2 moving zone. Over to David on the right wing, double team, back deep to Soria at the time, stripe left. He'll hold the ball, get it into Hernandez left elbow, over to Beatty left corner for 3, out the side of the rim, no good. Battle for the boards, as going for it, Clay, he was going toe-to-toe on that right baseline, and it went off the hands of him as he tried to battle Renteria.
Went in there, and Clay did a nice job, just not able to control it as Renteria got inside of him and was able to force him to knock it away.
Eagles full court trap, 2-2-1, coming across with the passes, Popescu to the right wing. Driving the lane, McDaniel, kick it off to the left wing to Renteria. Back up top to set up the play to McDaniel. He'll back it out as Clay will step out on him. Releases the pass to Popescu on the right wing, guarded by Soria. Dribbles up top, extends to the left wing. He gets stripped by Hernandez on the steal. First turnover for Oregon Mountain. Hernandez drives the right baseline in the front court. Bad pass in the paint, right in the hands of Popescu. That's another turnover for the Eagles, number 3 here in the first quarter.
Case of 1 too many passes and not given time for the rest of your team to catch up with you. If you didn't have the shot, needed to slow it up a little there.
Actually, it was McDaniel who had the steal. He tries to drive it to the other end and gets saddled from behind as they get the foul on the Eagles, charged to Clay. First team foul as well. And it'll be Oregon Mountain basketball on the right baseline underneath their hoop, up 3-0. 6 minutes left first quarter. Pass up top to Popescu, will hold it. Coming out is Soria. Sings it over to the right wing to McDaniel. Driving baseline, good slide there for the defensive Beatty. Throws it back deep to reset. And just holding it for a second on the right wing is McDaniel. Unloads the ball to the right side to Renteria. Gets a screen, drives top of the circle, extends the free throw line. Fadeaway jumper off the front of the rim. Didn't get full extension on his shot. It rolls out of bounds. They're going to say touched by Beatty in front of the Hobbs Eagles student section. Didn't like the shot selection there. It was kind of an off-balance shot, but Eagles got to get ready to crash those defensive boards.
Well, they have to, and I think that shot probably a case of he was hoping Hobbs was going to crash in and he was going to pull the foul.
Inbound goes deep. And he was a backcourt. It came in front court with a possession and then thrown backcourt and tried to chase it down for Oregon Mountain was McDaniel. But that will be a backcourt violation. So 2 turnovers now for Oregon Mountain. 5 combined turnovers for these two teams. Kind of sloppy play to start.
Well, it has been. And so, kind of warming up. It's been a long day, a lot of hype around this. So it's going to take a couple of minutes to get the jitters out.
Of course, Hobbs the number 5 seed, Oregon Mountain number 12. Last year they were the 5 seed in Las Cruces. Clay gets the inbound, triple team, top of the circle. Gives it to Beatty left wing. Boy, a lot of perimeter defense being played by the Oregon Mountain team. Back to Clay on the left wing. Stop and go dribble. Double team, spins on the left elbow, turns and fires, double clutch up the glass and scores. Coach McBroom wanted to travel, but Clay kept his pivot foot.
He did a nice job keeping it planted to keep everything where it needed to be so he didn't pull that travel.
3-2 score. Oregon Mountain dribbles into the front court left side. Soria knocks it out from behind, out the hands of McDaniel, but it's going off on Soria right in front of the student section. Like we saw at the Lady Eagles last night, defense on the perimeter really got them back to get to a major blowout win over their opponent there in the first round. Of course, that was against the team out of Farmington. Inbound to the left wing, Pedro Vista. Handoff left side, a 3 on the way, fadeaway, hits the bottom of the backboard left for Popescu. Rebound by Hernandez on the transition. Throws it ahead to Beatty. Does a windmill layup coming down the left side of the lane, but he's rejected pretty tough on the basketball. Right on top of the leather, that was Cargas to knock it out to the baseline on the block.
And almost picking up the foul there, but didn't get it, so Hobbs maintains possession on their baseline.
Surrey on the left base to inbound, underneath the Eagles soup, down by 1. Sings it into Clay on the left wing, jab step, crossover move through his legs, lost the ball, regains it, top of the circle. Backs it out to the time stripe, waiting for a screen, doesn't take it from David, gives it to David down the lane, hippity hop, turns and fires a shot. And the official on the far left sideline caused a travel. He was doing a gather step with it. I didn't think he had possession enough to travel, but they're going to say he did enough as he stepped forward and slid the pivot foot.
Well, and that's just going to happen sometimes. And if they see it and they see that slide, sometimes they think they pick it up a little bit. They're going to make that call 90% of the time.
4 turnover for the Eagles, 2 for Oregon Mountain. 3-2 score, Knights by 1. To the front court, driving lane. Renteria, dish to left base, a block on the shot by Rogers. Picked up for the Eagles by Soria, his first rebound. In the front court, right wing, he'll slow it down. One hand's over to Beatty, far left. Down left corner to Clay. NBA 3 is off the side of the rim. No board for the Eagles. Pulled down a transition at the free throw line by McDaniel. foul. Boy, he got walloped as he tried to dribble across the timeline. Side swipe. His hip hits the hardwood.
He does, but he's up and he's quickly back at it. And so another empty possession for the Eagles, but not a lot of scoring. It's at a premium here in the first. We're nearly halfway through it and just 5 points combined on the board.
Called Beatty on the foul there. Second team foul on the Eagles. 2-0 foul count in favor of Oregon Mountain. 4:15 remaining in the first. A 3-2 ball game. Knights pass to the left wing to Propescu, guarded by Clay. Up top to Renteria. He'll head out near the timeline, wait for the offense to rotate a little bit on the wings. Dribbles right slide to the far right side. One hands it to the right corner. Gives it to Rodriguez. Bounce pass, or no, he spins with it instead. Goes to right side of the lane, kick it right wing. 3 on the way for Propescu out the back of the iron. Knocks off the iron, picked up by Clay at the timeline. Comes down the lane, gives it back door. Scoop shot missed by the Eagles by Lowe, but a rebound and put back up for Hobbs over the front of the rim, converting underneath Clay, the guard, with the board and the bucket. He's got 4 points and 2 rebounds, all the scoring for the Eagles.
Great job by Clay to come through and get that board. He fought through and then the putback.
In the front court, a bounce pass to the right corner to Popescu. Drives the free throw line. Gives it to the right block. Weir gets rejected by Hernandez. Rebound by David. David throws it ahead to Soria. Front court, dribbling behind his back on the left wing. Over to Lowe on the left side. Up top to Clay. Holds the ball. Looks for the offense. Gives it over to David. Drives baseline. 15-footer. Off the rim, no good. Pulled down for Oregon Mountain on the right side. Blocked by McDaniel. His second rebound. He'll come across the timeline, drives to the free throw, runs into his defender, lost the ball off the back of the rim, pulled down for the Eagles. And here we go with the transition game.
Nice job by Lowe, right place, right time, and then moved it through.
Pass to Soria, left wing is 3, a long one off the back of the rim, ripped down on the left block by Weir for the Knights. Gives it back to the guard, Renteria. He'll take on Hernandez through the time stripe. Top of the circle, stop and go left elbow. Flicks it over to the left wing. Driving to the left base is McDaniel to the rack, but then throws it right baseline to Weir. Back deep to reset to Rogers. He'll hand it off behind him to Popescu with 2:35 left in the quarter. 4-3 Hobbs. Their first lead of the ball game by 1. Stop and go against Clay to the right wing. Throws up a fade shot for the right block. Misses it, left on the baseline, and he'll go off of him out of bounds. Hernandez was going for it, but he pulled off at the last second, kind of blocking out the man there. Good decision on his part. It'll be Hobbs basketball.
Well, it certainly was, and what we saw that time down the court is, well, we've got a timeout, but it looked like Oregon Mountain was more interested in pulling the foul than going for the shot.
Yeah, they're getting tentative on their offense the last times up the court. Hobbs basketball. Coming across the timeline with the dribbles, Lowe on the right wing. He had 5 rebounds against Carlsbad last week, did Lowe. To Clay, top of the circle, back to Lowe. Now he wants to shoot a tray off the right rim, high off the iron. Beatty gets a rebound, little hook shot on the left side of the iron and scores. Beatty might have got away at the push-off. Coach McBroom yelling at the official, but we'll take it. 1 rebound and 2 points for Beatty. Doubling up now, 6-3, the biggest lead for the Eagles. First quarter, 2 minutes left.
Only a foul if it gets called.
Pass to the right wing to Popescu, gives it to the right corner to Renteria. And that was a foul as he tries to drive to the middle of the lane. Actually, that was Pete. Boy, these numbers hard to see. Turquoise on black.
That is not a real easy one. They're going to whistle that one on Clay. His second quick personal, 3rd team foul. I've got to think Clay going to have to go take a breather, picking up those 2 fouls, still with 1:51 to go in the first.
Hate to say this, but he fouled out against Oregon Mountain the last time this season with just 3 points. And 6 rebounds, really helping the boards, but not a lot of scoring because he was saddled with those fouls. The inbound from the right base, stolen by Lowe. That'll be the 3rd turnover. Thrown up to Beatty on the scoop shot left side and scores, and is fouled over the top. Beatty's going to get a chance for a 3-point play. That's his 4th point of the game, and you got to love that transition style of the Eagles.
They get the steal, they transition it down. Oregon Mountain all out of position everywhere, and so it was all Weir could do to try and get back, and 99% of the time that's going to result in a foul, and that's what it does there. So it's an and-one opportunity here for Hobbs.
Beatty shooting 66% on the season from the line. That's exactly what the team has as a squad from the charity stripe. And he makes the free throw. First attempt of the game for either team. 5 points for Beatty, 4 for Clay, and a 9-3 lead, the biggest of the contest. A touchdown lead for the Eagles. In the backcourt, a pass to Turnbow, who just checked in. Dribbles across the timeline behind his back. Picked up on defense on the right wing by Darius Proby. Pass up top to Pete. Pete will back into his man Lowe. Spin move, middle of the paint, throws up a hook off the front of the rim and a foul. We haven't seen Pete until right now.
Yeah, he's just now coming in. I've got to wonder why maybe he didn't get the start on that. They're going to call that one on Lowe, so that'll be his first personal 4th team foul on the Eagles. So that will put Oregon Mountain in the bonus on the next one.
So Pete will step up to the charity stripe. He is one of their top scorers this season. First free throw is a brick off the front of the rim. He's averaging 13.4 a game, 2nd on the team. and also the top rebounder at 4.4 a game. Free throws 61% this season, but 0 for 1 on that first miss off the rim. Second shot, a fadeaway, misses both of them. Chase it down and taken down for the Eagles in transition by Sanders, his first rebound. So Pete having some struggles on the line, and we got a foul on the near side after a pass. Body's getting slammed into here. They're going to call that against Oregon Mountain, and Hobbs are starting to get excited here as they know the offense is starting to look a little bit better than it did at the start of the ball game.
Looks pretty good. They're going to whistle that one on Pete. His first second-team foul on Oregon Mountain. Important for Hobbs to take advantage of this and run away if they can. Keep your foot on the gas. Convert on this possession, and things are starting to look a little bit better.
Inbound to Beatty in the right corner, gets a double team, gives it back to Proby right wing, trying to slide the zone. Throw it down low to David, 1-on-2 with 2 defenders on him. Goes up high, but misses off the right rim. The touch wasn't there. Rebound by Pete in transition. Driving hard down the rim, right side, stripped by Sanders. Picked away by Lowe for Oregon Mountain's 4th turnover. Lowe in the front court, stop and go dribble. Allows to Beatty, right corner. He'll dribble to the right wing and back it out on the sideline in front of the referee. 55 left in the quarter. Over to Sanders, wide open 3 to left side, air ball. Rebound Lowe in the right block, double clutch. Kind of fade back, couldn't get it to drop, but put back up by David on the fadeaway left glass and scores.
Good job by David. He battled his way through there, gets his 3rd board and his 2nd point, and so Hobbs now up 11-3, an 11-0 run for the Eagles.
In the front court, driving right sideline is Renteria. Spins, throws it up top, a dangerous pass to Popescu, picked by Lowe for a second, recovered on the right wing by Weir. Sends it back up top, thinking about a 3, falling to the floor though, and the dribble is Popescu. Sanders right on top of him, flicks it behind to Pete. And boy, they discombobulated offense there, but they're going to call a push foul on the Eagles. And boy, it just seems like not much flow for this Oregon Mountain offense at this point as they call the foul on Jalen Sanders, first personal. That is a double bonus time for Oregon Mountain, a 5-2 foul count.
So Oregon Mountain goes to the line, but they have not scored in almost 7 minutes, 7.5 minutes basically, since their opening possession.
So 2 free throws here on the double bonus. Hobbs' biggest lead has been 8, which it is right now, pinning these 2 free throws. First shot is bounced around the rim and good. And that this is a team that shot 63% coming into this game. That first shot by Popescu, he's averaging 71. In fact, he is tied for 2nd for best free throw shooting on this team this season. He'll get 1 more here. He's got 4 points. All 4, in fact, of Oregon Mountain scoring so far. Second one good as well. He's got 5, 2 for 2. They're 2 for 4 as a team on the line right now, but a 6-point Hobbs Eagle lead. 20 seconds left in the first quarter. I think this is their last possession here.
I would think probably so. Important to convert if you can.
Coming down the lane is Low, hippity hop, and he tried to back into some defenders, and that's a jump ball. He did not dish it off when he needed to. They tie him up. That'll go down as a turnover. It's a possession arrow for Oregon Mountain. Hobbs down with 5 turnovers, 4 for Oregon Mountain. 11-5 lead for the Eagles, 13.3 remaining first quarter.
Oregon Mountain going to have to move the ball quickly. I'm a little surprised Hobbs isn't putting more backcourt pressure on him here.
Coming across the timeline, a 3-shot from the top of the arc, off the back of the rim, no good. Ball tipped out, probably gets it top of the circle to half court to Beatty, but it was behind the half court line, a backcourt violation. And that will end it. They won't let the shot go as that was a violation to end it. So Proby gets the last rebound, and the Hobbs Eagles were down early, but they're up now 11-5, first round of the state playoffs.
We'll be back in 1 minute as Hobbs Eagle playoff basketball continues on Cool 95.7 and HobbsAmerica.com. Back at Tasker Arena, getting ready for the start of the second quarter. The Eagles up by 6, 11-5 the score. Tiff Stuber in studio engineering and producing. I'm TJ Miracle, and with the action, the voice of the Eagles, Ty Friend.
Hobbs Eagles up 11-5 and also leading on the rebounds 11-4. We talked about that in the pregame show. winning the glass battle big for the Eagles. They had 5 guys with 6 rebounds the last time they beat Oregon Mountain. Top scorer for Hobbs is Beatty 5, Clay 4, David 2. And for Oregon Mountain, all 5 points for Popescu. Eagle basketball against that move-around zone right now. Kind of looks like a 1-2-2, a 3-2. It kind of is shifting around a little bit. Top of the circle, Soria throws to Beatty on the left wing. Cross-court right to Clay. Trying to drag out the defense with him. Uses up his dribble. They're trying to get a post up. Instead, a shot for Clay as the defense backs away. Misses off the back of the rim, and a rebound on the right block pulled down by Turnbow, his first board. 7:25 left, second quarter, first round of the state playoffs, the 5A here at Tasker Arena. Pass to the left wing to McDaniel in the front court. Spots up a 3 and hits it. Hernandez backed up just a little bit. That is going to be the second tray of the game for Oregon Mountain. Also, the first score outside of Popescu. That was McDaniel.
Give them the room, and they will take the shot.
11-8 score now. Hobbs by the tray. Beatty in the front court right wing. Uses up the dribble. Sends it down Hernandez left corner. Pivoting. He's going to slide up the sideline and throws it back deep to Soria in front of the scores table left. Bounce it back to Hernandez in the left corner. He's going to take a drive to the left block. Fadeaway jumper off the back of the rim. Pulled down by David. Goes back up on the right block between 2 defenders and puts it through the glass in the hole. Counter for David. 4 points and 4 rebounds. Good start for him. Hobbs by 5.
Good job by David. He had positioning, then he went strong to the hoop between those 2 players.
Him and McDaniel to the front court. Unloads to the right wing. Slowing it down with the crossover move is McDaniel. Spins on the right block. Underhands it back to the right wing to Popescu. Drives right baseline. Hernandez chests him up. Pass to the left corner to Turnbow. Comes down the lane with a scoop shot left glass. Off the back of the rim, no good. Hernandez with his second rebound. Outlet up court to Beatty. Reverse layup on the windmill right side of the rim, left to right, and is fouled. Kind of like the shot he did in that victory a few games back against Roswell here. Boy, what an exciting shot. And he's going to get some free throw opportunities. They call the foul. That's going to be charged to Daniel Turnbow, his first, and the first team foul second quarter.
But a nice job by Beatty to go through and come in hard, and so it forced him with the only really option they had was foul him and try to make him shoot 2 instead of get 2 and then an and 1.
1 for 1 on the line. Nobody else has shot free throws. Again, Hobbs coming off an 8-23 game against Carlsbad on that district tournament championship Saturday, so they want to improve on that, but they missed that free throw there. Right now, though, Oregon Mountain is 2 for 4. Both these teams close in free throw shooting this season. 66 for Hobbs, 63 for Oregon Mountain. One more shot for Beatty. He is the leading scorer with 5 and make it 6 with that free throw. He's 2 for 3.
We talked about it. Free throws coming down the stretch. This could wind up being very important at the end.
14-8, Hobbs over the Knights from Oregon Mountain. 6:10 remaining in the quarter. Second quarter, McDaniel on the right wing, swing pass or swing drive down the lane. He tries to lay it up, but they're going to call a foul on the floor. Kind of looked like he might have tried to dump it to Cargus on the left side, but they're saying that's a shooting foul?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was just thinking. So they're going to call the push foul.
Boy, he was in a passing motion.
Yeah,
if anything.
he wasn't. Yeah, I'm not sure how they get shots out of that one, but they will.
First foul of the team for the second quarter, and Hernandez picks up his first. That'll be 2 free throws. And the shot is in and out. It stayed on the top of the rim there for just a second. No good on the first one. That'll keep it at a 6-point lead for the Eagles. Their biggest lead was 8 in the first quarter. 5 turnovers for Hobbs so far, 4 for Oregon Mountain. Winner will go to the quarterfinals next Wednesday. Boy, we got a lot of Lee County teams we'll be talking about tonight. Misses the second free throw as well. So 2 misses there for McDaniel. Pulled down by Clay, his third rebound. Throws it to the timeline to Soria, to Beatty in the left wing. Double team against him. Tries to swing it back to Soria, but it's picked off near half court. Taken away by Rogers. Goes to the rim with it with a lefty layup and scores. Hobbs 6 turnover. Rogers first bucket. It's a 4-point lead for the Eagles, though, 14-10. In the front court, long pass to Clay on the far left. Gives it to Beatty, right elbow. Kick out right to Soria. Spot up a 3. In and out, no good. Rebound high for Clay. Goes back up over the front of the iron. Is fouled. And it will come off the rim, but he'll get 2 free throws. Like to see guys getting in position for boards. Exactly what you want to see off a missed trade.
Well, and he did a good job as Clay saw that it was probably going to wind up being short, and so he drove hard to the rack to put himself in position against 3 different Knights. Got the rebound and then the foul.
That'll be Renteria's first, second team foul. Clay will be on the line for the first time in this ball game. Coming in, shooting 67%, and he makes the first one there. Clay now with 5. The team now is 3 of 4 from the charity stripe for 75%.
At this point of the game, you like to see your team up by 2 possessions or more, and that's where Hobbs is right now.
Braden Dunlap gets a chance to come in early in this game. One of their post players, youngster on the squad. He'll come in for Hernandez. Second shot for Clay is up, and it's good as well. Got them both. He's 2 for 2. 6 points for him at a 6-point Eagle lead, 16-10, 5:30 remaining. How do you like the pace of this one so far?
It has been very quick, and so both teams trying to run it out. We'll see who has the best amount of stamina.
Boy, Pete throws a chest shot from the free throw line at the back of the rim. Clay with the transition rebound is fifth. Drives the lane, double clutch over the front of the rim and scores. Boy, shot selection not good for Oregon Mountain. Clay makes him pay for it. He's got 8.
Beautiful job by Clay there. Pulled down his 5th board of the ball game and then transitioned it all the way down and saw that he had a shot, took it, made it.
18-10. Into the front court, free throw line. Materia fade away. Back of rim, front of the rim, no good. Rebound in the middle of the paint by Pete. Kicks it back to the left wing to Renteria. Over to the left corner to Daniel. His 3 out the back of the rim. Rebound for Clay again. 6 boards for the Hobbs Eagle, and now he's in the front court off the dribble. Stop and go. Goes through 4 defenders, gets rejected. Probably a 4th shot that time. Rebound on the left block, pulled down by Renteria. Into the front court to the right corner to Pete. Pete sends it back behind to Renteria. 15-footer fade off the right rim, no good. Clay with another rebound. No offensive boards coming for Oregon Mountain. That'll be Clay's 7th rebound. Into the front corner to the left wing to Dunlap, up top to Clay to the right wing. Lowe will fire a 3, and it's good. It kind of rolled around a little bit and got flushed through. First bucket for Lowe at 3.
However you get it, you get it. And so now an 11-point Hobbs Eagle lead. That's what you want to see. You have to keep your foot down, though. A team that can drain the trays, which this Oregon Mountain team can. They're never out of it this early.
Yeah, the biggest lead of the game, as you said, at 11. Into the right corner to Rogers. Gives it behind to the right wing to McDaniel. Backs it out. Boy, giving a big size advantage to Malachi David. Oh, we got a crash underneath the rim towards the baseline into the bench area. Looks like there was a push foul on Oregon Mountain off ball. That's why we weren't even watching it, because the play was in the paint and something happened over by the bench. They called a push off. Looks like they're going to charge that one to Josiah Rogers off ball.
They are, and so that'll be his first personal. It'll be the 3rd team foul on Oregon Mountain, and it'll be their 5th turnover. Give it back to Hobbs right at the halfway mark of this second period.
Still a double-digit lead for Hobbs of 11, 21-10. 6 turnovers Hobbs, as you mentioned, 5 for Oregon Mountain. Pass to David, front court, right corner, 3, it's good. Boy, the last 2 shots on the right side kind of rimmed around, but they went through for the Eagles. Coach Tasker up ahead is thinking about this team right now, and he's kind of pushing it through for him on those last 2 shots.
Certainly has worked as Oregon Mountain goes, all right, let's see what we can figure out as we got clonked here as Coach McBroom is hollering pretty good. It's a full timeout. We'll take it with them. Hobbs 24, Oregon Mountain 10. Back in a minute here on Cool 95.7. Out of the Oregon Mountain timeout, it will be black basketball for the black and teal. And as we get back to the action, here's Ty Friend.
Right now, leading scorer for your Eagles, 8 for Clay, 6 for Beatty, and just 5 for Pompescu leading Oregon Mountain. They'll take a shot from the left wing. A big kid who just barely checked in. Quentin Fielder, 6'1". I bet you about 270. Drills a 3-pointer. Boy, just off the bench, too.
Came in, and maybe that was what Oregon Mountain needed to try and get their team reignited.
24-13 at the other end. It's going to be a 3 again for David back-to-back as he nailed one right before the timeout. And number 2 in his books now.
Basically, it's your big boy can shoot threes, so can ours.
10 points for David. He's the first in double-digit scoring for either team right now. Hobbs matches their biggest lead at 14. We got an off-ball foul. It looked like Surya got tangled up with the Pete, who's got about probably 4 inches above him, and just kind of rammed into each other.
Well, they did, and so they are going to whistle that one on Soria. His first personal, just the second team foul on Hobbs. Just one of those, yeah, they kind of happen sometimes.
Terry on the right baseline to inbound underneath the Oregon Mountain bench. Gets it in right corner to McDaniel. Driving hard against Lowe. Leaner shot with a hook off the back of the rim. David rips it down with the sidearm. David with 5 rebounds. Outlet to Soria far left. Throws it across to the left corner to Dunlap. Returns to Soria. Up top to Clay. He'll drive to the right elbow and back it out. Gives it David on the right wing. Spots over to Clay, or make that Soria left wing. NBA 3, an air ball. Lowe tries to get quick hands on it underneath the hoop. Looked like it might have went off his fingertips. I think he got the benefit of the doubt there by the official.
Yeah, I think he did, and I think that's part of what Coach McBroom was barking about. Of course, he was barking going into the timeout, too. He is not a happy camper down there.
Remember, he always used to bark when he played Lovington and Artesia down here with all the teams that he played before he moved to Las Cruces. Over to Soria on the left wing after the inbound. He'll back it out. Spots it. NBA 3 fade off the front of the rim. Lowe rips it down on the right block. His third fadeaway jumper on the right block off the back of the rim. Soria rebound left wing. Throws it out to David, gets it back, and fires a 3 from the same spot he originated from, the left wing, and scores it. Soria's first points of the ball game, and another tray for the Eagles.
That's what you want to see if you're Hobbs. If you can rain the threes, do it.
It's 30-13, and coming down the lane, that big kid back to score again, hippity hop in the lane. That's Fielder. Where was he in the first quarter? Now has 5 points in the second. 30-15, doubling the lead with a 15-point lead for Hobbs. It was 17 just minutes ago. Lowe has in the right wing after a pass. Double team against him off the zone. A 1-3-1 it looks like now. Gives back to Soria on the right side with 2 minutes left in the half. Hobbs up by 15. High pass down to the right corner. Logan to drive baseline, spin, right block. Throw it to Clay, coming down the lane. Double clutch right side of the rim and puts it up. Clinks off the rim, goes in and scores. Eagles are starting to look for those openings in the lane and dish it off at the right time.
And a nice job there as Clay came through, and then Soria saw him, found him, convert it, get the foul, and move. Nothing Las Cruces Oregon Mountain could do there. They were all out of position, and so Hobbs manages to stretch it out a little bit more.
Emmett McDaniel picks up his first 14 fouls. The fouls have kind of switched. Early first quarter, Hobbs had the more dominant fouls, and now it's time for Clay to get on the line again. He's 2 for 2. Eagles as a team right now 4 of 5 from the charity stripe, 80%. Fade away on the free throw, good. And now we got big point production for Clay. He's got 11 to lead both teams, and a timeout on the court.
And with 1:53 remaining first half, we'll take it with them. Hobbs 33, Oregon Mountain 15. Back in 30 seconds on your Hobbs Eagle Network. Back here at Tasker Arena out of the Hobbs Eagle timeout. The Eagles have stretched this one out 33-15. Has not been at all like the first game these two teams played back in the month of December, as Hobbs up big 33-15. I'm TJ Miracle, and back to the action. Here's Ty Friend.
Boy, TJ, one key stat right now, Hobbs leading on the glass 22-7. I mean, now sometimes that's a misnomer. If you miss a lot of shots, you might get some rebounds, but you got to get in position for those boards. And we're starting to see guys like Clay. He's got 7 so far. Malachi David with 5. And we said that was the key to this game, and it has been at this point.
Well, it has been, and Clay almost doubling up his season average. Averages 4 rebounds a game, and he has really taken it upon himself to do that. And then David not far under his season average. We're still in the first half.
Biggest lead of 18, driving the lane coast to coast. McDaniel tries a reverse layup on the right side, gets knocked to the floor. Ball came off the rim, and he just kind of fell into about 3 players that time for Hobbs. We'll see which one picks up the foul.
Yeah, they're going to tack that one on to Clay, so that'll be his 3rd personal. Clay going to have to sit back down for the remainder of the first half, but Hobbs with the big lead. McDaniel heads to the line to try and chip into it.
Now, he did foul out that last time they played, but he didn't have much points in that game, 3. Right now, he's a very critical part with 11. Definitely don't want to have him sit too long into that second half. He also had 6 rebounds the last time they played. He has 7 already here in the first half. First free throw up and good for McDaniel. He's got 4 points now coming in this second quarter. And right now, they are 4 of 7, make it 3 of 7 from the charity stripe are the Knights.
Clay sits. Beatty comes in to take his place.
Beatty had 16 against Oregon Mountain last time as well. Second free throw good for McDaniel. He's got 5, 2 for 4 on the line. 33-17, Hobbs by 16. 1:40 left here in the second, first round of the playoffs. 1-2-2 zone for Oregon Mountain. Pass to Dunlap left corner. Return back to Soria at the time stripe near the scorer's table. Crossover through his legs. He'll back it out. Bounce past to Beatty in the left wing. He pivots, gives it up top to David. David with the jab step against that big kid. Fielder, back away, a three off the front of the rim, no good. Pulled down middle of the paint by Ware, his second board. Outlet near left sideline. Bringing it across the timeline is McDaniel. Spins in the left block, gets swatted by big man David. Pulled down by Soria near sideline. Third rebound. Up ahead, he tries to zing it down with a football throw to left block, or make that the left elbow to Dunlap, but fires it too hard. It kind of just takes his hands off with the ball, and it goes to the baseline.
He does. Not the worst play in the world, though, trying to get the fast transition to get the easy bucket coming off of the swat and steal. So you just give it right back. You pretty much just reset and go again with 1:05 to go in the half.
Hey, you got 2 more turnovers than Oregon Mountain has, 7-5, but you're up by 16 of the Eagles. 1 minute left in the half. Pass up top, new sub in there, Dylan Croker. He'll dribble to the right wing. Wrap around pass to the right elbow. Pivot from the Fielder kid, gives it off to the right wing to Pepescu. He's going to fire up an NBA three. Fade away, fell backwards, rebound off the rim to the free throw line to David, his 6th board. Up ahead to Beatty. Crossover move, shot from the left elbow off the front of the rim. Pulled down underneath the hoop by Croker. No Eagles on the boards that time. Pivots at the free throw line after the half-court line after the dribble. Pass down the lane to the right block to McDaniel. Swings it to the left wing. Driving the paint, Fielder. Kick out right corner. Short shot for McDaniel from 3 off the side of the iron. Ripped down off the rim on the left wing by Ware, his 3rd rebound. He tries to drive to the hoop and is fouled. It's kind of weird. He was already under the basket, and Lowe took it away from him at the block behind him, and then the whistle, and he had no ball to lay it up with.
Kind of funny how that happens sometimes. They're going to go ahead and tag Jadarius Lowe with that one, his 2nd personal, 4th team foul on the Eagles.
So both teams with 4 fouls. They're going to finally sub out Fielder, who leaves with 5 points. He didn't play in the first quarter for Oregon Mountain, but Pete comes in for him. Pete is one of their top scorers, but very quiet in this game. Did not start, but he averages 13.4. Right now, he is at only 0 for 2 on the line. The inbound gets deflected back to the time stripe, picked up by Oregon Mountain. Crossover move to the left wing, goes Pupescu down the left lane, scoop shot, and it goes in the hoop. They're going to call the foul on the floor, though, giving the Eagles a little bit of breather on that one. Not going to be a shooting foul, although it will be with the double bonus.
Yeah, they go ahead and wave off it, so it'll be 2 free throws instead of an and-1 situation. So they're going to go ahead and tag that one to Jalen Sanders, his 2nd personal, as you mentioned, 4th team foul. So Popescu at the line to shoot 2 more. He's 2 for 2 from the stripe.
So he's trying to add on to his point production in this one. As he makes it, his first point of the second quarter, 6. How do you like the double bonus since they've changed it the last few seasons?
It's taken some getting used to. I haven't decided if I like it or hate it. We'll see what happens if they ever put the shot clock in. Then we'll have a discussion.
Second shot is up and good. As making both of those, Popescu was 7, 4 for 4 on the line. 33-19, Eagles with 8 seconds left, second quarter. Soria with the step back, top of the arc, decides not to shoot, hands off to David, gives it back to Soria. NBA 3 from the left wing, off the back of the rim, no good. Rebound at the free throw line, no chance to shoot for Oregon Mountain, as it was pulled down to end the quarter and the half. Ware comes down with it. At the end of 2, your Hobbs Eagles with the big lead here in the first round.
33-19, Hobbs up by 14. We'll be back with your halftime report right after this. Hobbs Eagle basketball here on the Hobbs Sports YouTube channel, HobbsAmerica.com, and Cool 95.7. Back here at Tasker Arena, halftime of the opening round of the 2026 Nucinda Credit Union NMAA State Boys Basketball Playoffs. Hobbs leading this one 33-19 over Oregon Mountain. As we get ready to take a look at the numbers in this one, and at times a dominant first half for the Hobbs Eagles, Ty.
Yeah, definitely. 11-5 at the end of one, kind of a low-scoring start, but Hobbs 22-9 in that second quarter, and just definitely starting to hit the glass. I think that's the biggest stat you're looking at. 24-11 rebounding advantage for the Hobbs Eagles in this game so far. Both teams combined 7 3-pointers. Now, the last time they played, Hobbs winning by 1 point, there were 17 trays, so I don't think we're on that clips of a mark there, but still I think we're doing a good job of starting to see people inside in terms of the offense and not just relying on the big long shots. And right now it just seems like Oregon Mountain really doesn't have a flow on their offense.
Well, no, and that flow is something that a team, especially one that takes a lot of threes and expects to make a lot of threes, has to have it. But Hobbs has done a nice job defensively. They are moving around. They are shifting the defense. They're keeping hands at least in the neighborhood of the shooters to give them contested shots, so they're not giving them open, easy looks, and I think that's been very important.
And several times, the Malachi David has got a couple guys 5-6 inches lower than him near his belt, and he goes up strong. If he can continue to get the touch he needs, he's going to have a good night in terms of maybe a double-double, 10 points, 6 rebounds right now, and he's well on his way to getting that. Clay doing a great job as well, but he's in foul trouble and had to sit out there late in the second.
Well, he did, but you'll take 11 points and 7 boards for him. I mean, well over his season average, right at his season average point-wise, well over his season average in the rebounding category. So very important. He has found seemingly that quote-unquote second gear in that first half, and a lot of heads-up play. Well, one of those 7 rebounds, I think it was the 7th rebound, he went up against 3 Oregon Mountain guys, saw that they were just a tiny bit out of position, and he had a sliver of room and went in between all 3 of them and out-battled 3 different nights for the boards. That's high IQ, that's seeing and good court positioning and putting yourself in the right place.
And one thing we're seeing, too, the Eagles, some games we've seen this season, you kind of drive into traffic, don't know what to do with the basketball. We're starting to see a little bit more cleaner ball out there and looking for your teammates. Plus, the free throw shooting's been there, too, 5 of 6 for 83%. They've been averaging around 65, 66 this season, so that does look good. 6 of 10 for Oregon Mountain. They're at 60, but they just don't have enough people stepping up to score. When you have a kid come off the bench and score all 5 of his points in the second and starting it off with a tray, that's usually Malachi David for the Eagles. He starts, but this is that fielder kid I'm talking about for Oregon Mountain, but that tells you that they just not got the intensity out there. They start off pretty fast and coming up the court, but it just seems like the Eagles are starting to apply some pressure and also taking away the easy outside shots.
Well, they've done a nice job on that, and they've locked down Nathaniel Pete. He's averaging 13.4 points a game. He had no points in that first half. A little bit surprised he wasn't starting. I've got to wonder if maybe there's some illness or something going on there that has kind of limited his time and his minutes and his performance.
And, of course, we've had that problem, too, with the Eagles. Malachi David out last week during the district tournament championship, out during the APS Metro tournament. Several games missed there. Other guys have been hurt as well this season, just not being able to come onto the court when needed. So, of course, Jaden Hernandez, another kid, Javen, I should say, was out for a while with a knee injury, too. Several other guys have stepped out a few times this season, Proby being one. He was out 3 games. But Hobbs has rebuilt when that's happened. They've won games sometimes without these players. And right now we got nobody looking at Oregon Mountain double figures. They're far away from that. Popescu was 7. He hit a tray. He's perfect 4 for 4 on the line. They have hit 3 3-pointers so far. But there's been lots of games, even ones that they've lost, Las Cruces, etc., where they had 9 3-pointers but shot in the 30s. And I think we're kind of in that situation here. They lose games when they don't have the shot dropping. That sounds like a cliche, but high percentage shots need to go in the rim.
Well, they do, and you hear it all the time, and I don't care what level it's at, whether it's little dribblers or NBA, the team that lives by the 3 will also die by the 3, and Oregon Mountain is a team that kind of lives by the 3. They expect it to keep them in ball games and keep them close, and if they're not falling in tonight, so far in the first half they haven't, that's going to hurt them. Now then, you switch ends of the court, you reset after the halftime. If they can start raining them down, this could get interesting in a hurry.
Winner of this game will play on Wednesday, 9:45 at the Pit. La Cueva, the 4 seed tonight, playing a Trisco Heritage, the 13 seed. So that's going to be an important one. On the other side, too, on the same side of the bracket, I should say, Las Cruces and Albuquerque, the 8 versus 9. They're playing today. Volcano Vista is the other team in the same side of the bracket, the number 1 seed playing Santa Fe, the 16. So those are some of the teams we're looking at on our side of the bracket, but La Cueva's a team that the Eagles had a taste of at the APS Metro. Down, Malachi David wasn't playing in that one. They won by double digits, but Hobbs probably like to have a chance to clip them after they clip them at the APS Metro.
Well, and if you can clip them at the pit, that would be an even bigger deal. Now, my question is did Atrisco file a formal complaint that they had to go all the way to La Cueva to play that game?
Yeah.
I don't know. Just
yeah, that's
just saying. I mean, they had to go like 12 whole miles. That may be tough for them.
Yeah, actually though, the APS opened up their travel restrictions. You know, this last season or two, they're letting teams go outside of the metro area, which is like the rest of the state saying, how many years has that been? I mean, Hobbs is number 1 every year for travel distance and playing teams in Texas and all over the state and tournaments and everything like that. APS finally said, you know, maybe we want to start playing some outside teams a little bit. So, and then you start to see Clovis. For a while, we're put in the same district as some of the Albuquerque teams. But regardless, I think Hobbs gets used to playing road games. It's not something they're going to cry about every year. They got used to doing that. They've kind of mixed up some tournaments, gotten to play in the APS Metro. They've been up to Espanola. They've been down to other tournaments, Artesia, for example, and got a lot of tests out there. And I think the APS Metro has been good for Hobbs to see some of those Albuquerque squads.
Well, I think it has, because you're going to have to go through them if you get to the pit in Albuquerque for the Big Blue Trophy anyway, and I'm glad Hobbs has been invited to take part in that and I think it has been ultimately good because it gives them a good idea there early in the season where they stand. How
do you feel about the girls' chances? A big win last night. Piedra Vista blew them out here, 59-19. It was kind of close early, but they got that defense going, and once that happens, all she wrote.
Well, as it's a case of like it is just about every year since Joey Carpenter took over, if they are on any given day, they should have no problem cruising through, but there is no more easy test once you get to the pit in Albuquerque. So we are getting ready for the start of the second half of this one. Hobbs all over Organ Mountain, 33-19. Winner moves on. The loser gets ready for track and baseball as we get back out onto the floor for the second half of action with the call. Here's Ty Friend.
A lot of Lee County teams punching their ticket too, by the way, TJ, right?
I was thinking, unfortunately, we couldn't get all 5 last night because 2 of them were playing each other. I don't like that, but it is what it is.
Tatum girls, Jowl girls, Lovington girls, Hobbs girls, and hopefully one boys team if the Hobbs Eagles can win. Eunice losing earlier today on their road trip.
Well, they did, but a tough road up to Santa Rosa, but congratulations to the Eunice squad for a good season out of a tough district.
Organ Mountain will drive to the hoop on their first play. They got a push off ball, another screen foul. They had one of those in the second quarter, and that's going to already be a turnover. Coach McBroom not going to be a happy camper as they call the screen foul on Logan Cargus.
I'm not sure Coach McBroom is ever actually really happy, but you'll take it because, hey, they had possession. Now they give it back to Hobbs. Hobbs has a chance to stretch it out early.
Coach McBroom over by the scores table on the side of the court, of course, the bench behind the basket, so he's taking advantage of the kind of weird confines, according to other coaches here at Tasker. Surrey has the ball in the front court. Eagles up by 14. Surrey with 3 points of the tray in the first half. Gives over to Clay on the left wing. He had 11 points, 7 rebounds. One dribble and returns this Surrey near the timeline. Giving it back on the yo-yo pass to Clay. Drives the lane behind his back on the left elbow. Hippity hop left block. Turns and fires. The double clutch is fouled. Oh, I thought I heard a whistle. I guess it wasn't. Might have been a shoe sneaker or a squeaking. Counted off the glass and scored for Clay. He's got 13 to lead both teams.
I think it might have been a squeak from the fans of Organ Mountain under is squeaking about what they thought was a travel.
Yeah, he did a little bit of a 360 look, though. It kind of made me look a little bit. Pete gets a pass on the right base. Throws up a hook shot. Air ball. Ball gets knocked around. Beatty at it for a second. Finally does get the rebound. It's got knocked out of his hands. That's his second board. Throws it ahead to a breaking Soria. Too far on the right base. Saves it back to Clay. He leads over the rim and scores. And is fouled. Had his bicep ripped from behind. Nice muscle power to shove it into the rim.
And that was a great job. Beatty knew that he was going to be out of position, was able to save it. Clay hustling back in perfect position, grabbed it. Organ Mountain out of position. It was a case of they had to foul to try and keep him from scoring. He did anyway.
Max Popinskew gets his first foul, second on the team. Free throw up and good for Clay. He is perfect. 4 for 4 for the charity stripe. 5 points here in the third, 16 overall to lead the Eagles. Doubling up now, Organ Mountain by 19, their biggest lead, 38-19. In the front court, stop and go for Jaime Renteria. Goes behind, top of the arc to Popescu. His three is good. A swisher, second tray of the game for him, fourth for the team, and now a 16-point Eagle lead.
Left him open. He took it. Gotta be aware of that coming down in transition.
David in the front court, step back three, left corner, fade away off the front of the rim, tipped up in the air, pulled down by Oregon Mountain in transition from the free throw line. Dribbling into the front court is Pete. Goes to the rack on the right side and lays it in. He didn't score in the first half, but he's got his first bucket now. And the Eagles now getting a 4-0 count against him in the last 2 possessions, up by 14 though. Soria stop and go. Down the lane. Throws up a scoop over the front of the rim and scores through 2 defenders, slipping through like butter.
Nice job there. He saw the opening and he took it. We talked about it in the first half.
5 points for Soria. Bounce pass to the lane at the other end. Right block, leaning to the hoop. It's Kargas. Hernandez and David kind of squeezed into it. I think Hernandez got the referee's attention on that one.
Yeah, they're going to tack him on that one. Again, just a fact of a little bit out of position. So his second personal, first team foul. And so at the line is Oregon Mountain.
So 2 free throws here on the shooting foul. Kargas first attempt for a shot on the free throw line and makes it. They're now 7 of 11 from the charity stripe. Kargas on the season, one of their big kids on the court, is shooting 71%. He is a senior. Good big body there. Second shot up and good. He got both of them. 2 for 2 on the line. Now 8 of 12 in the shooting department on the free throw line. 40-26, Hobbs by 14. Beatty the front court. Crossover, lost it off his leg. Loose on the right wing, picked up by Pete. Eagles 8 turnover. Pete throws it up court to a breaking Popescu. He's got 12 now. I wonder if Coach Ross might call a timeout to get the Eagles' head back in the game.
That would be a good idea because all of a sudden it's down to a 12-point lead, and Ronald does call it. 5:39 to go in the third. Just a 30, so we'll keep it right here. Say a big thanks to all the good folks who make Hobbs Eagle basketball possible. We never have to charge you, never have to beg you for donations like too many, unfortunately, so-called broadcasters are doing these days. Couldn't do it without the help of Forest Tire Company, IPS, R360, TDS Telecom, Lasco Construction, Hydrotech Services, Thriftway and La Tienda, Hobbs Express, and Eunice Pump and Supply, just to name a few. You see them there on the bottom of your screen if you're watching. If you're listening on Cool 95.7 KLEA Hobbs, you are hearing those ads. Be sure you support those businesses that support your Hobbs Eagles and Lady Eagles.
Hobbs up by 12 on the scoreboard, 40-28. Also lead on rebounds, 25-12, so 13 on the board look there. Hobbs 5 of 6 on the line, 83%. And Oregon Mountain has hit 4 for 4 here in the third quarter. They are 8 of 12 from the charity stripe. So they're starting to get a better improvement on the line at this point. They have 4 3-pointers after that tray by Popescu. Hopefully the Eagles got their mind reset and ready to play this after the 5:38 mark. Inbound to Clay on the left wing. Stop and go, spin, stays in the left corner. Throws it back to Soria, sliding left to right at the time stripe. Setting up the offense, waiting for a screen from Hernandez. Goes to the right wing off the dribble, bounce it off to Beatty. Beatty up top to David, top of the circle as well. Dribbles behind his back to his left hand, spins in the lane, turns up a hook in the front of the iron, no good. Gets his own rebound, got loose and puts it back over the rim. What happened to the defense? They just moved away from it.
I don't know, but she'll take it, and it gave David the wide open look off of the glass, and so he takes it and gets Hobbs back up by 14.
At the other end, a 3 top of the arc, hits the rim a couple of times, no good. Ball hits the floor. Put back up on the right block, an air ball on the shot put after the rebound from Pete. That was Fielder. And they get it back to the right wing to McDaniel. Gets banged into by Soria. Yeah, he lost his brakes that time and just kind of lost his body into the dribbler, and that'll call the foul on Soria. That'll be his second team foul.
But it is on the floor, so they'll just inbound it from the baseline.
2-2 foul count right now, and coming on is Lowe. It'll be a box look for Oregon Mountain underneath the hoop. 1 on each block. They give it into the right block, taking a shot towards the rim as McDaniel lost it. Lowe comes down with the rebound for the Eagles, his 4. Throws it ahead to Soria left wing, bounce pass to the corner left, and throws it ahead of David. Luckily touched by Oregon Mountain. He was trying to feed David a kind of a move towards the baseline there, but overthrew him, but luckily touched, again, as I said, by a Knight player.
Yeah, McDaniel came through and got a hand on it. He was thinking he was going to jump the lane and steal it. A little too hard for him to handle that.
Soria chucks it into Clay at the left wing. Backs up and shoots from 18 feet. Thought he was going to go back to Trey, but stops short and throws it up anyway and puts it through the hole. Clay now with 7 points in the third, 18 overall to lead both teams, 16-point Eagle lead. Driving the lane, reverse slamp, left to right underneath the hoop by Pete. Was leaning underneath the rim almost and just kind of threw it back. Got fouled, and the ball comes over. Not the most pretty release, but he got a foul call by the official, and that's going to put Clay in serious foul trouble.
Yeah, he's going to have to sit with 4, and I think that was an opportunity, and credit to Pete. He saw he was going one-on-one with Clay there, and I think that was a case of him leaning to try and draw the foul, and he did. And so that takes Josiah Clay 18 points and puts him on the bench.
Pete takes a lot of off-balance shots, I've noticed. Not really big, smooth form there, but he is a good battler. First free throw off the front of the rim. He is 0 for 3 from the charity stripe, so not helping the cause too much. Came in shooting 61%, second leading scorer at 13.4, behind close to 15 a game for McDaniel. Right now, McDaniel with only 5 points, all coming in the second quarter.
Well, and again with Pete, you got to wonder if maybe there's some health things going on down there, because he's looked a little bit sluggish. I mean, he's out there, he's battling, but I've got to wonder if maybe he's a little bit sick. I'm not complaining, and neither is any fan of the black and gold.
And misses off the back of the rim hard. Lowe comes down to rebound the guard. So Lowe's been ripping some down, his fifth board, throws it up ahead and going to the hoop with it for his first bucket of the ball game, the youngster Dunlap, and a steal by Surrey at half court with an 18-point lead. Out to Beatty, right wing, his three, hits the back of the rim, goes over the top of the backboard and rolls off. But boy, Braden Dunlap getting a chance for a transition layup, and the fans love to see the youngster score.
He did, and he did a nice job. He stayed within himself and made sure it went in. Unfortunately, when the Hobbs steals the inbound, get it to Beatty, that could have been the dagger if he hits that one. You just feel the momentum completely go out of the building if Hobbs get that one. So Oregon Mountain can breathe a sigh of relief as they still have an opportunity as we hit the halfway mark of the third.
That was their sixth turnover. They average 11.7 a game, does Oregon Mountain. An underhand pass to the left wing, picked up by Renteria. Drives left baseline to the hoop, double clutch, left glass, and scores on two defenders. That's the first bucket for Renteria. He came into this game averaging a total of 6.3 a game, and well below that right now. 46-30 though, Hobbs still by 16. In the front court, Lowe handing it off to Soria, top of the circle. David comes and gets it, keeps the dribble through his legs, double team in the left elbow, pivots, looking for help, uses up the dribble, bounce pass in the lane to Dunlap, fakes a shot, pivoting, kick out to Soria on the right wing. He fires up a three, bounces off the rim, no good, rebound underneath by Renteria, his second board. Dribbles behind his back across the timeline. Continues down the left lane. Tries to lean and shoot. Comes out of the rim. They're going to call the body foul. Beatty might have got him there, and that will put him on the line. But Renteria's starting to get a little bit of acceleration here in the third.
Well, he's taking it to the hoop, and he's moving it through in transition. And, yeah, they will tack Beatty for that one. So that'll be his second personal, fourth team foul on Hobbs as Renteria heads to the line.
Yep, yet to shoot a free throw. He already scored a bucket here in the third, his first point, and that's a major brick off the back of the rim. Renteria on the season from the charity stripe at 67%. And a lot of guys been missing free throws. Pete 0 for 4, Renteria 0 for 1, McDaniel 2 for 4. A couple guys are perfect, 4 for 4 for Popescu, 2 for 2 for Kargas. Second shot missed as well. And a battle for the boards on the left baseline. Looked like David going up against his opponent there, which was Fielder. There was a whistle. They called Fielder for the push-off.
And so a good job, and that was a good job by David. He blocked out, got it, and I think a little bit of frustration there from Fielder causing him to get the foul.
2 rebounds away from a double-double for David, 12 points and 8 boards. 46-30, Hobbs by 16. 3:10 left of the first round. Bounce pass backdoor from Beatty, missing the push shot. Dunlap gets his own rebound, fade away over the top of the rim. Ball goes in the hole, but they call the foul on the floor. So Dunlap with a second effort on that one and was able to get a foul out of Oregon Mountain.
He did. Unfortunately, they call it on the floor. I really thought he was going back up and trying to put it when they tacked him, but they did. So it's going to be on Carter Love, his first personal, fourth team foul called on Oregon Mountain. Hobbs in the bonus next time up.
Pass in the lane. Sanders misses off the front of the rim, pulled down to the left baseline by Renteria, and that'll be his third board. They're saying he got kneed by maybe Sanders on that far left sideline. And nope, they're going to change that to Lowe. That's his third, 15th foul, so double bonus now for Oregon Mountain. But the Eagles are already also one foul away from Oregon Mountain to put them on the line for double with 3:03 left. Eagles with a 16-point lead. Is that a cushion that you like at this point?
I would feel a lot better if it was 26 instead of 16. You've still got a lot of time. We're still got 11 minutes of clock time, so plenty of time for Oregon Mountain if they can figure it out to come back.
Well, Renteria misses that free throw shot. He's missed all 3 of his free throws here in the third quarter. Still sticks at 2 points, and definitely not helping out the cause to whittle this lead down from 16. 19's been the biggest lead, and the free throw good now with 3 points, 46-31. 15-point lead for the Eagles here at home. 3 minutes left in the third. Stop and go. Coming across the timelines, Beatty, crossover move, right side of the paint, gives to David right wing, fakes a three, dribbles, spins on the right elbow, backs into two defenders, fade away, able to get an arm to drape down on top of him, get the foul call on Fielder. Will they call this a shooting foul, though?
Yeah, they've got to, because it's we're in the double bonus, so that's a good thing. So they're going to tack on to that one to Fielder, his second personal. And David really just taking Fielder to school down there, did a nifty little job, and when he spun after he picked up the dribble, kept that pivot foot close enough, he didn't get tacked for the travel.
David's first free throw off the back of the rim came in shooting 76% from the charity stripe. One thing I like about David, too, that little head fake gets that defender up, and then he kind of leans a little bit and get the grab on the foul. One more shot for David. He's 0 for 1 now. 12 points so far. He's not the leading scorer. 18 for Clay, but it's been on the bench due to foul trouble with 4. Second shot bounces a couple times off the rim. No good. It's saved by Oregon Mountain, but right to low underneath the hoop. Lays over the front uncontested. He's got 5. You're going to have to credit the bad save by Pete. I think, no, actually it was not Pete. Who was that? It was one of the guards out there, 14. That's McDaniel. At the other end, a 3 attempt, left corner, off the mark for Turnbow. Rebound for David in the middle of the paint. His Knight goes ahead to Beatty, goes to rack, double clutch and scores on the right glass.
Transition, and the Eagles get it to go right there. Now 50-31.
Beatty with 8 points, and that's the 9th rebound for David. A steal on the pass up top by Beatty, throws it down and kind of losing his balance as Dunlap falls to the floor. Teams are exchanging turnovers. 7 for Hobbs, or 9 for Hobbs, 7 for Oregon Mountain. 3 at the other end, left wing by Popescu off the left rim. Rebound for Beatty. Beatty with his 3rd rebound, throws it up ahead. Underneath to Sanders' right block, tries to wrap around underneath to Dunlap. Ball stolen, taken away by McDaniel. Eagles 10th turnover. Throw it up ahead and a layup for Pete on the right side. He's got 4. Boy, we got a little track meet moving there. Not a pretty track meet off a lot of turnovers, but keeping you working hard on that camera, TJ.
I apologize on the camera. I'm trying to do the bug and the camera, and I've missed 1 or 2 little things, and I apologize about that. But timeout on the floor taken by the Eagles. It will be just a 30, so we'll say a big thank you to the good folks who make Hobbs basketball possible. And it's including DNC Electric, the Burrito Beast, NMR Pipeline, SunGuard Precision, New Mexico Junior College, the Coffee House, Rent-A-Center, and LECO. We couldn't do it without their help and support. Of course, today's game, first round video rights purchased by Walmart Broadcasting and Cool 95.7 Sports. With authority from the New Mexico Activities Association, we are the exclusive video provider of this ball game, and we appreciate you watching wherever you are, Southeast New Mexico, West Texas, and around the world. 50-33, Hobbs up by 17, but still a long way to go. 1:55 remaining in the third. Back to the action out of the Hobbs timeout. Here's Ty Friend.
Kind of ironic situation, too. The game the Eagles won the first time, 63-62. They had 16 turnovers and just 6 for Oregon Mountain, and a win for the Eagles. Right now, Hobbs has more turnovers again, 10 versus 7, but they still have a big lead of 17. Pass down to David, right corner. He throws up a 3, hits the back of the rim, and then goes up and hits the strap above the backboard out of bounds. So it will be Oregon Mountain basketball. Not quite sure if we need the 3s at this point. Like to see some more penetration and foul calls.
Penetration, take your time. You're up by 17. That is 6 possessions, so you don't have to rush it. I understand wanting to put the dagger in, but maybe wait a little while before you do that.
Oregon Mountain basketball after the missed shot. Handoff left wing to Popescu. Drives the lane with a scoop left side. They called the foul on the drive and a shooting foul. Surrey a little bit on the hip of Popescu as he went to the hoop. So Surrey's going to pick up his 3rd.
So 3 for Soria to go along with 5 points. And so now that'll be Popescu, who is 4 of 4 for the line. He has been the most consistent of the free throw shooters today for Oregon Mountain, and he's got 12 points.
And season-wise, that's exactly his average, too. So he can break his average with a free throw here and makes the first one. So he's going to go to 13 now. 6 of his points coming in this third quarter. He had 7 at halftime. Big mass substitution going on for Coach Ross. Sanders will be in, Beatty. Also coming in, Proby and Hernandez, and Lowe remains on the court.
I think that's a good idea. Get some fresh legs and some guys who aren't in foul trouble in there. You've 1:22 to go in the third.
Second shot rims out, no good. Pulled down the left block by Hernandez. Just got off the bench, his 3rd board. Outlet to the timeline. Lowe bring it across with 1:15. Pivots, kicks it out to Beatty, far right wing. Drives the middle of the lane. Down the lane with a reverse slap on the windmill off the back of the rim, no good. Sanders gets it momentarily, but gets knocked to the floor. We got bodies diving for it. Jump ball They have to try to unravel all this whole mess.
Yeah, dog pile.
Sanders had it, got the rebound, and they got tied up. Luckily, the arrow goes to the Eagles who have it underneath their basket on that left baseline.
So Hobbs getting a little bit of a break there, and 67 seconds to go, up by 16.
50-34 your score. Sanders inbound left base. Goes it back deep, up top to Lowe. Lowe to the free throw line, goes hard to the rack. A runner shot around the rim and drops in with a flush. Lowe with 7 points, some of his best points of the season. 5 rebounds like he had against Carlsbad last week. 52-34, back to an 18-point lead. And Beatty was riding the dribbler up the court down the middle. Popescu, they called the hip check there, and that will be his third.
And that'll be the Boo Birds will bring them out in the black and gold. Not liking that one at all. Braddock Beatty gets tacked for his third, and so back to the line, Popescu.
5 of 6 from the charity stripe is Max Popescu. Missed his last free throw, went 1 of 2 so far in this third quarter. 53.5 remaining, Hobbs by 18. And keep it 18 as he misses off the front of the rim. That's his last 2 now. And again, he is their leading scorer at this point with 13. And a big drop-off after that. 5 apiece for McDaniel and Fielder. For your Hobbs Eagles at this point of scoring, 18 for Clay, but he's been sitting the most of this third quarter due to foul trouble with 4. 12 for Malachi David, 1 rebound away from a double-double, and 8 points for Beatty, 7 for Lowe. Second shot coming for Popescu is good, a swish, as he's now 2 of 4 on the free throw line and has 14. 52-35, Eagles by 17. A steal at the timeline, taken by Popescu. Eagles 11 turnover, misses a layup on the left side, but they got a late foul call.
So the turnover called, and it looked like Hobbs was going to take it right back, but instead they call Hernandez. They tack him for his third personal, and so Popescu heads back to the line. You don't want to let a team claw back into it with the clock not moving.
They always get Hernandez on those wrong place at the wrong time situations, it seems, trying to get himself in position. Popescu 2 for 4 in this quarter and puts the free throw good again. He's got 3 free throws out of 5 shots here in the third, as he gets now 15 on the scoreboard, but a 16-point Eagle lead with 45.3. And, boy, this quarter's starting to drag a little bit.
Well, it has been. The first half just kind of moved back and forth, but this one's been choppy with all the fouls and the stoppages.
Another shot for Popescu, in and out, no good. Ripped underneath by Hernandez, his 4th board. Outlet far right to Sanders. Across the top on the low. Cross court left to David. He pivots in the lane. Fade shot in the middle of the paint. Rolls around and good. It's going to be a chance for a 3-point play. He got bodied up by 2 or 3 players that time.
He did, and that's just will, and that's just using that big frame to go in there and battle. They're going to attack Weir for his second personal, and so it'll be back to the line for Malachi David. 0 for 2. On the evening, maybe he can make it 1 for 3.
And does so with the free throw. Now with 15, he is second leading scorer behind Clay. Hobbs by 19, matching their biggest lead of the game. 33 seconds left, third. In the front court, driving left elbow. Popescu, kick it out right corner. A 3 on the way, and a fade gets bumped. Sanders throws a hip at the shooter. He throws it through the hole, and we got a chance for a 3-point play for Oregon Mountain now.
4-point play.
Yeah, excuse me, Popescu, that was Popescu that shot it off the pass at the other side. And the officials talking about it first. That's going to be his 3rd tray of the ball game and the 5th for Oregon Mountain. So he's starting to rack up some points here. 11 in the third quarter, 18 overall.
And they get Sanders, and that's a bad foul on Sanders. Popescu was wide open in that corner, and what are they talking about? I know some of the Oregon Mountain folks, they want.
I think it might have been that the ball had already been released, and maybe they're saying it's an after the shot foul, possibly. Coach McBroom, but
I was pretty sure they signaled. I think maybe he was asking for the flagrant, but.
Oh, no, if that's what he's wanting. Oh, he's putting his 3 fingers up in the air, and now he's got a thumbs up, so I think McBroom's happy about it. They are going to count it as a 3. I think it might have been a delay foul that they were wondering if that was going to be a shooting foul or after the play foul, because it took a little bit for the actual contact to knock him down, but you have to protect the shooter regardless.
Well, you certainly do. Question is, are we shooting 3 or are we shooting 1?
It looked like the referee at the table was telling the table flush the 3 number of the fingers at the table. So, he is shooting 3. He missed the first.
So that means we will take points off the board for him. They haven't on the scoreboard yet, though.
Yeah, that's true, and they got to hear it first. They don't announce it over the intercom. So he's missed his last 2 free throws. He is 2 of 6 or 3 of 7 for the charity stripe here in the third. So
they keep the 3 on the board, So I'm not sure what's going on there.
They got him down for 19, so. And I have him down for 16. I don't know where they're getting that 19 from. They kept the 3 on his personal stats too. They need to erase that number.
Then why did he get two shots?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Confusing. 55-40. Maybe they said he wasn't a 3-shot. Shot from the free throw by Lowe, comes off the rim. Hernandez tries to get in position, and they're going to say it went off Hernandez out of bounds. I'm thinking maybe it was a 2-shot foul instead of a 3, maybe.
Maybe, but then we should be taking 3 points off of the night's total here.
Yeah, and it also has Popescu down for 19, which if you take the 3 off, that would make it right. But, yeah, there's going to be some problems in the book, I can guarantee that. 15 seconds left, third. Hobbs by 15. Long pass to the far left sideline, brought down by McDaniel. Drives to the free throw line, spin move, step back, shot from the free throw line. Off the front of the rim, rebound for David. He's got a double-double, but bad pass to the left sideline. Stolen and a 3-shot for McDaniel, but a rebound for David before the buzzer. No chance to shoot before the buzzer. That's 11 rebounds for David, officially now with a double-double with 15 points and 11 rebounds.
We think the score is 55-14. We'll sort it out and be back for the fourth quarter in 1 minute. Hobbs playoff basketball continues on Cool 95.7 Hobbs Sports YouTube. Back here at Task Arena, and I think we finally figured out the Popescu foul. They counted the 3, and then they called a foul on Hobbs after the shot went down, so after the play, and that led to the 2 free throws. So that gets us to the 55-40 score. So we're pretty sure that we have got it correct now. I'm TJ Miracle, and back to the action for the fourth. Here's Ty Friend.
Yeah, that looked like a shooting motion to me, and once you come into the shooter, you go ahead and count that and get the extra free throw. That's it. Inbound for Oregon Mountain. McDaniel throws it down the lane on a hook, misses out the front of the rim. Rebound on the right block by McDaniel was third. Throws up another shot point blank off the iron, and Beatty comes up with it for the Eagles, his 4th rebound. Outlet to the far right corner, driving the lane. Dunlap, a high arching layup off the glass. He's got his 2nd bucket. The youngster doing some damage, 57-40.
Smooth as butter through the lane, puts it down.
Shot for the free throw line at the other end, dribbling around the iron, and drops in for Popescu with 21. He leads Oregon Mountain. Top scorers for the Eagles, Clay 18, David with 15. Surrey with the basketball near sideline. He's going to beat his man across the timeline. Popescu throws it down to David, left corner. Uses up the dribble. Over to Lowe, right open, right wing. Drives the lane. A runner shot with his right hand over the rim and scores. Lowe been going to the hoop well. He's got his best scoring of the season with 9 here. 59-42, Eagles by 17 here in the 4th. In the front court, behind his back dribble for Popescu. Top of the circle. Throws a floater to the left baseline to McDaniel underneath the hoop. Looks like he might have got bodied towards the baseline there. Looked like he stepped on the line, but the ref said he was kind of bodied out.
Yeah, they're going to go ahead and call on Lowe, so that'll be his 4th personal. First team foul on Hobbs. It will be on the floor, so some Eagles starting to get in foul trouble. Clay with 4, Lowe with 4. You've got Hernandez and Soria with 3 apiece, also Sanders and Braddock with 3.
Inbounding from the left baseline, chucking it back deep. Turnbow to the timeline. They're going to call a backcourt violation. Now the question is, you can have a backcourt on an inbound. He looked like he was straddling the half-court line. I kind of wonder. That was a tight call there. I guess they're going to say he had possession, all 3 points above the half-court line, then step back. So I guess they're going to go with it that way. That will be the 8th turnover for Oregon Mountain. Hobbs has 12, but they have a 17-point lead. Beatty in the front court after the inbound. 6:50 remaining, 59-42. Dribbles up top, back it into his defender. Hand off to Soria. Soria with the lefty dribble, left wing, bounce pass to Beatty in front of the Hobbs Eagles student section. Beatty has 8 points in the game. Dribbles up top. uses the brakes, gives it to David, left elbow, drives the lane, kick back to Beatty, right wing three on the way, in and out, no good. Underneath the hoop with the rebound, pulling it down real low to the floor was Cargus, his first rebound. Throws it ahead to Pete, he cradles it, comes down the right lane. Boy, a lot of feet shuffling there. They're going to call the hold foul on the drive, no shot. But he was just tucking it for a run to the end zone on that one.
He was, and they're going to go ahead and tack Lowe for his 5th personal, so he's done with the night. He'll finish up with 9 points and 6 boards. So a good night for Lowe, but they lose him off of the bench, and so that's an important loss for the Eagles. Hobbs now, I think, going to be important to burn some clock on their possessions.
Bounce pass backdoor to Pete, tried to save it before it went out of bounds and stumbles ahead for a travel. Oregon Mountain now with 9 turnovers in this ball game, and they're usually a pretty clean team with keeping control of the basketball, averaging 11 a game, and Hobbs so far has got him for 9. 59-42 Eagles, full court pressure inbound to Proby, who just checked in. Stop and go dribble, far right sideline against Turnbow. Comes into the front court, right wing, underhands it to David, right corner, gives back to Soria, right wing. Crossover move, stays outside, shot from the right elbow off the dribble, bounce around the rim, no good. On the left block for the rebound, off the transition dribble now is Renteria. His 4th rebound, stolen at half court by Soria, goes to the rack with a nice scoop shot and scores on the right side. Soria with 7 points and 10. Oregon Mountain turnovers. Going to the other end, a pass down the lane high. Renteria gets it blocked. Beatty will pick it up into the front court. Lefty, or making a reverse lap left to right, is pushed in the back underneath the hoop and is fouled. Looked like he was on the left side of the rim, but got shoved underneath the hoop. I think they might get him on a forward or a shooting motion on that one.
I've got to think that should be a shooting foul, but at this point, I'm not sure I know what is and what isn't. So they're going to go ahead and put that up on Turnbow, his 2nd personal, 1st team foul in the 4th.
Beatty on the line, 1 of 2 so far, has 8 points. Try like to make it double digits. Misses the first one, though, off the front of the rim. He'll get 1 more. Again, 18 for Clay, 15 for David. Lowe fouled out before getting double digits, 9 points and 6 rebounds. Clay is still alive, but is on the bench with 4 fouls. He's got 18, but hasn't yet to score here in the 4th. Off the front of the rim, no good for Beatty. Missed Bow, pulled down underneath the hoop by Oregon Mountain, as that was a rebound for Cargus. Throws it ahead, spin move with the free throw line to Popescu. And we got another foul on the drive. No, timeout call for the Oregon Mountain squad. Coach McBroom is going to have to talk about time management because they're down by 19 with only 5:43 remaining.
Yeah, not a lot of time for them to figure it out. So you're down by 19, so that's 7 possessions. And if Hobbs can burn a little more time and continue to stretch this out, even if they just keep it right here, it's going to be not impossible at this point for Oregon Mountain to come out. But every second that ticks off the clock, their chances get dimmer and dimmer.
Great job for Malachi David so far with 15 points and 11 rebounds, so a double-double for him. Josiah Clay, 7 boards. Jadarius Lowe, who fouled out with 6 rebounds, and that was part of the formula we talked about in the pregame of guys crashing the glass, not just being settling for an outside 3 that misses. You got people in the paint taking care of business on the glass, and several times we've seen guys go back up and get fouls and a chance for 3-point plays as this game has progressed. And who would have thought 19-point lead in this contest with a team that's hungry after losing in the first round last year as a number 5 seed, just like the Eagles are this year. Inbound to the right wing to Cargus. Throws it down right corner, front court to Popescu. Spin move, behind his back, step back 3 in the right corner. Tripped on himself, rolls in and out, no good. Rebound, a shot put from the right base. Missing it off the back of the rim. David rips it down for his 12th rebound. Throws it in to Soria, far right side, now in the front court. Running clock with 5:25. What do you think they're going to do with the offense here?
I think you've got to continue to try to score, but you can be patient. Make sure that you set up a high percentage shot, high percentage look.
Pass down to David, left baseline, reverse slap, left to right, and scores underneath the hoop. David goes to the rack. He's got 17. Still that double-double look for him. 63-42, biggest lead is 21. At the other end, a scoop shot for Pete going down the right side of the lane and got swatted out of bounds.
Nice job by David. Came through, and he got him clean coming up from behind. Very hard to do.
3-touchdown lead for the Eagles, 21. Inbound to the right corner. Cargus with a handoff on the right wing to Renteria. Gives it back behind to Popescu, fires a 3, bounces off the front rim, no good, tipped around, chased by Soria, deep right corner, his 4th rebound. Bouncing to Beatty on the right elbow, pass over to David left side. Throws it ahead, down the left corner to Dunlap. Fires up a 15-footer and scores. Dunlap, hey, I'm the big kid now, I'm playing with the varsity, he has 3 buckets.
Nice job there for him. Keeps Hobbs well up in this one.
23-point lead, the biggest of the game. In the front court, stop and go on the right wing, Popescu. He's going to drive the lane, right side, scooping off the glass and score. and there'll be a foul with a chance for a three-point play.
So this is about the only chance that Oregon Mountain has. They're going to have to try and draw fouls, or Hobbs into as many fouls as they can, and they're going to have to try and do like this. It'll be an and-one situation or get the threes. That's their only chance, is 3 points every possession.
That's going to be called on Proby, his first, second team foul. Popescu has 23 now, 2 buckets here in the fourth, but a ton of free throws in that third quarter.
I ran out of room on the free throw line.
11 opportunities to shoot free throws and makes that one. He's got 24. Clay back in the game for the Eagles, but a 20-point Hobbs lead, 65-45. In the front court, Soria at the spin, dribbling through his legs in the near left, top of the arc. Backs it out, fakes a three, gives it off left wing to Beatty. Beatty with a crossover through his legs, comes down the lane, hippity-hop, turns and fires the shot in front of the rim and scores. Just kind of shoved his arms to the hoop, and Beatty now with 10 for double digits. It's now a 22-point lead. Coming down the lane with the fade shot, middle of the paint, putting it through his Popescu. He's not done yet, 26 for him. Eagles up by 20. A bad pass to the far right side, stolen by McDaniel. The Eagles, 13 turnover. Pass to the right wing to Popescu. Stripped by Soria. That's going to be their 11th turnover for Oregon Mountain. Soria in the front court. Pass down the lane to Clay. Reverse slam with a scoop on the left side and scores. Puts it off the glass to put it through the hole. Clay now with 20 points and 7 rebounds.
And now business is picking up as both teams picking up the pace with 3:40 to go here in the ball game.
3 at the top of the arc, off the front of the rim for McDaniel, but put back up on the left side with a push shot for Pete. Pete with 6 points and 5 rebounds. Back to a 20-point game, Hobbs. Front court, Proby, 1-on-2. Down the lane, a runner shot and good, but they're going to call a push-off. Proby looked like he was getting grabbed on the wrist by the defender that time, but looked like they might have put out his forearm a little bit to get him away from his wrist.
Well, maybe, and that's what the man in the black and white stripes saw, and so it'll be a turnover for Hobbs as Proby going to check out, and Javen Hernandez coming back in for the Eagles.
2 on Proby, 3 total fouls, make it 4 for the Eagles, a 4-1 foul count. That'll be the 14th turnover for Hobbs, up by 20 though. In the front court for Oregon Mountain is McDaniel. Dribbles the left elbow, backs out against Hernandez, who's on the court now. Hands off up behind, top of the circle, stop and go, crossover for Popescu. Drives the lane with a scoop off the front glass and the rim, no good. Pulled down by David in the lane. He's got 13 boards. Goes up ahead to Clay on the left wing. He's going to get an open three as the defender backed off the rim though. Rebound at the free throw line off the reject, off the iron by Renteria. He's got 5 boards. Up ahead to Pete, hippity hop. Turns and fires a hook over the front of the iron, stays on the front of the rim for a second and then drops into the hole. Pete's starting to come on a little bit here in the fourth. He's got 8, but well below his season average at 13.
And timeout on the floor taken with 2:48 remaining here in the ball game. It is Hobbs 69, Oregon Mountain 51. We'll be back in 1 minute. Hobbs basketball in the playoffs from Tasker Arena continues in a moment. 1 minute, please. Oregon Mountain timeout. We return to Tasker Arena with 2:48 remaining in the contest. Hobbs 69, Oregon Mountain 51. And as we get back to the action with the call, Ty Friend.
Just got a score update from Albuquerque. La Cueva all over at Trisco Heritage, 77-47. That would be the next opponent for Hobbs. A steal on the inbound. Going to the hoop is Soria. Double clutch right side, no good. Hernandez pulls it down on the left block. His 5th rebound. Gives it Clay on the left wing on a double team. Back to Beatty at the time stripe. Hobbs by 18. Drives the lane. Underhand pass to David. Double clutch with his head bobbing up and down. He goes up strong on the 3rd opportunity and scores, and a foul.
So now Hobbs knows what they have to do. 2.5 minutes remaining, up by 20. So you don't start cruising just yet, but you start getting ready for La Cueva, who you've already seen, and see if you can make it a little bit better game.
2nd foul on Cargus, 2nd on the team for Oregon Mountain. And the free throw bouncing on the rim, going off the glass and in for David. David now with 20 points on the night, and again that 13 rebounds for a double-double. 72-51. Bounce pass front court, right wing, three open for Popescu. No defender out on him, and makes the Eagles play. That kid's starting to score big ones. 29 on the game. He leads both teams. 72-54. Pass up court to David, right corner. Debatey left block, fake the shot, go up instead as the defender flew over him and scores point-blank range. Great head fake for Beatty. He's got 12.
Yeah, nice job for Beatty, and he held up, controlled the body. And so 74-54, Eagles in the lead.
Don't you be in control of the Beatty? Going
yeah,
to the rack.
That too.
Sorry about that. Going to the rack on the layup is Popescu, and a quick timeout for Coach McBroom. Popescu now over the 30 mark at 31.
Yeah, but he's been really all that Oregon Mountain has had to go on here tonight, and that should be the final timeout for Coach McBroom, and it will be. Of course, we'll just keep it right here. We're going to have 5 games for you coming up next week from the various venues in Albuquerque. Of course, we'll have the Hobbs Lady Eagles and the Lovington Lady Cats starting things off from the pit on Tuesday afternoon. Lovington at 3 o'clock, Hobbs coming up at 4:45 immediately after that, then all the way across the county up in Rio Rancho. Of course, we'll get the early game as Tatum will be playing 8 a.m. at the Rio Rancho Event Center, and then the 6:45 affair with the Jowl Lady Panthers. So a lot of games on Tuesday, and then looks like we will have the Hobbs boys taking on La Cueva 9:45 on Wednesday morning.
Yeah, of course, Eunice played earlier today, too.
They did, and not the end of the season they wanted, but it was what it was. They fought till the very end, but came up short by about 32-33 to a very tough Santa Rosa team.
74-56 here, an 18-point lead for the Hobbs Eagles, coming in with an 18-9 record. Oregon Mountain at 16-11. The number 5 seed is currently up big over the number 12 seed, so 2 years in a row that Oregon Mountain's going to lose their first-round game. An inbound, and Malachi David tried to save it from the right bait or sideline and throws it right back to Oregon Mountain for the Eagles. 15 turnover. Shot from the left wing, off the mark by Renteria. Rebound for Hernandez. Hernandez on the near left side. His 6th of the game. Throws it up ahead to Soria. Goes to the rack on the right side and scores. Lyric Soria now with 9 points. One away from a double point production. Eagles by 20. Driving to the other end. Renteria. Throws up a layup on the left side with his left hand. He's got 5 points off the glass.
And I would let them do that all game long if it keeps the clock moving.
Beatty got through 2 defenders in the backcourt, split the difference, driving to the half-court line. They blow a whistle deep in the backcourt. No foul. I think somebody might have got hurt. I thought Coach Ross was calling a timeout. It's like, why are you doing that, Coach? But no, he's just pointing to try to figure out. Maybe that was Coach McBroom had called for a sub timeout there.
It may be.
Late whistle, though, but still. Are they going to call it? Now it's going to a 60.
And so I guess they're going to say that Coach Ronald Ross took the timeout. So
Whoa.
124 remaining in the ball game. Hobbs up big, 76-58. We're back in 60 seconds here on Cool 95.7 KLEA Hobbs.
Clear.
Thank you. Well, they didn't take it off of his total. All right, I guess they did.
Maybe he was trying to. Back live here at Tasker Arena. Your Hobbs Eagles ready for a first-round victory of the state tournament, 76-58. Clay gets a pass, goes down the lane left side, double clutch, gets hammered. He got sandwiched between a couple Oregon Mountain defenders underneath the hoop. He'll get a chance for shooting free throws here. They call the foul on Cargus, his third team foul. And that'll get Clay back on the line. He's got 20 points and perfect from the charity stripe, 3 for 3. Clay came into the contest, one of the best free throw shooters on the team, although just a 67%, but Hobbs is a team at 66 coming into this contest. Free throw up and good for Clay. Had to sit most of that third quarter, TJ, due to foul trouble.
Well, he did, and he sat out most of the fourth, too. He's been sitting there with 4 personals the whole time, but has done a nice job now, just a point away from 20.
Of course, he fouled out the first time they played a 1-point Eagle win. 3 points in the game for Clay. That one rolls around and good. This game, he's got 22 on 2 made free throws there and total of 6 for 6, 78-58. Eagles by 20. Layup miss on the left rim by Renteria. Rebound by Clay out to the races. His 7th or 8th rebound. Stop and go in the paint. Gets up in the air and tries to throw it to Hernandez. It gets tipped towards the timeline and stolen for Oregon Mountain. Now Beatty gets it back, so exchanging turnovers. Beatty will throw it out for right wing. Sullivan will shoot up a 3 on the right side. Misses out the back of the rim. Rebound for McDaniel, his 4th. Up ahead to the right side of the arc to Turnbow. His 3 wide open off the iron as well and rolls out to the left baseline. It'll be Hobbs basketball. So Sullivan coming back after an injury last week, getting a chance to get in the scorebook, and that one almost went through for 3.
Almost, and so took the shot at it. I kind of wish that Clay would have tracked that one down. That would have put him 1 rebound away from a double-double.
Some of the seniors getting some hugs from Coach McBroom and the coaching staff. I think the white flag has been raised here as inbound to Beatty in the backcourt. 40 seconds remaining. Stop and go dribble, top of the arc, sings it over to Sullivan. He wants another chance for 3, and this one stays out of the rim just at the last second. Eagles trying to scramble for the rebound. Gets knocked out on the far left sideline, and boy, the lid just kind of flicked it off the rim for some reason.
Well, you hope that we don't get the lid at the pit. We'll take it here up by 20.
28 seconds remaining. This Oregon Mountain in the front court. They have a bunch of subs in there now. Back up on the 3 left side for Washington off the back of the rim. Rebound on the left elbow. Fire up again. Is Turnbow misses. No, it goes in the hole. It went up in the air for a second and then drops through.
That was Herod, number 0.
And a steal going to the rack and a layup on the right side. Put it through for Washington. So now it's 78-62. Clock to 5 seconds. Eagles by 16. Clay on the far right sideline. Throws it across Hernandez. Over to Beatty on the left wing. Back to Sullivan left side. 3 at the buzzer. Sullivan finally gets a tray on his 3rd chance. And that will be the final, 81-62.
So the Hobbs Eagles victorious and will move forward in the Nucinda Credit Union NMAA state playoffs into the Elite 8 against La Cueva coming up on Wednesday morning. We'll take a timeout, come back with your post-game report. Hobbs victorious 81-62. Hobbs Eagle basketball back on the Hobbs Eagle Network. here at Tasker Arena. The Hobbs Eagles victorious in the opening round of the 2026 Nucinda Credit Union NMAA State Basketball Playoffs as they knock off the Knights of Oregon Mountain 81-62 to move on into the quarterfinals on Wednesday. I'm TJ Miracle, and as we wrap things up, here's Ty Friend.
Boy, great game for the Hobbs Eagles to pull that one. Go to 19-9 on the season. Oregon Mountain finishes up at 16-12. Second year in a row they've lost in the first round. They were a better seed last year at number 5. This year, Hobbs number 5, getting the home win. Again, La Cueva next on the schedule for that quarterfinal on Wednesday, 9:45 at the pit. Should be an exciting one. And by the way, too, the girls also play La Cueva. Hobbs get a chance to play La Cueva at the APS Metro. We'll talk about that here in just a second. You want me to do the numbers? Or
go ahead and run them because mine are all kinds of goofy.
Yeah, we know for sure Max Popescu was the man of the hour for Oregon Mountain, even though in the loss, 31 points for him. He was a leading scorer. A ton of free throws in this ball game as well. I mean, he had double-digit free throw shots. Was 12 of 16 from the line. Also was able to knock down 3 trays in the ball game. And heck, through that third quarter, I don't know, he was on the line about 12 times or something.
Yeah, I ran out of room on my free throw line on my stat sheet. So,
but he did. 12 of 16 overall, 31 points. And that's actually, he had more free throw attempts than the Hobbs Eagles as a team in the ballgame. Just attempts I'm talking there. Only guy in double digits, too. Closer to it was Nathaniel Pete. He had 8 points. 0 for 4, though, from the charity stripe, well below his average. And he didn't start. We think there was an issue there. I'm not sure. 5 rebounds for him, though. Other than that, a couple guys with 5. Jaime Renteria, 5 points, 5 rebounds. Emmett McDaniel, one of their top scorers, double digits this season. He finished with 5 all in one quarter, 2 for 4 on the line and a tray, 4 rebounds for him, well below his average. And Quentin Fielder coming off the bench one quarter for 5 points on a tray and a bucket. Logan Cargus a bucket, or 2 points, 2 for 2 on the line. Got several other guys with 2 apiece. We won't get into that right now. 17 of 30, though, from the charity stripe, 56%. That was their problem against Hobbs the first game. They lost the Eagles by 1. They were in the 50 range again, so they weren't learning a lesson. 5 3-pointers, and again, they're used to getting over 6 a game. Somewhat close, but just not the execution they would normally see. Hobbs did out-rebound them big time, 41-24, 17 difference there for the Eagles, so that was an issue, although they did get 5 apiece from Renteria and Pete in that losing cause. Hobbs side of the coin, a bunch of guys. We had 4 averaging double figures into the game tonight, but they get 3, almost 2 more, so almost 5 guys in double digits. Josiah Clay, despite being in foul trouble in the second half, sitting quite a bit, finishes with 22 points. Again, 8 rebounds, getting close to a double-double, and perfect on the charity stripe, 6 of 6. So give him a lot of credit for his production in this ball game. Malachi David, a double-double tonight, 20 points and 13 rebounds, 2 for 4 on the line. A couple of trays. The big man can shoot the tray, second best on the team for the season. Also in double-digit scoring, Braddock Beatty, 12 points, 4 rebounds, 2 for 5 from the line. A scrapper out there as usual, going to NMAA next year in football too, so we're getting forward to seeing that. Those are the guys in double digits. In fact, Clay, David, and Beatty. Getting close, Lyric Soria. He had 1 tray, 9 points, and 4 rebounds. And Jadarius Lowe, probably his best offensive production of the season, 9 points, including a tray, and 6 rebounds. So that kid has been stepping up. He did foul out, but he's really a go-getter type of guy out on the court. A couple other guys for the Eagles. Hendrick Sullivan on 3 attempts at 3 points. He hit one at the buzzer. Almost got knocked to the floor by his teammates. Finishing up with a tray and 3 points in that ball game. 6 scores, actually 7. I can't forget Braden Dunlap, the youngster. He had 6 points, his best offensive production of the season. Eagles again got the rebounding advantage, 41-24. Leader was 13 for Malachi David. Also getting some good boards. Josiah Clay with 8. He was second. 4 for Soria, 4 for Beatty. Jadarius Lowe actually was 6, so he was up in the top. And Hernandez getting 6 too. So you got committee rebounding. That's exactly what we wanted to see, especially the pregame talking about that. Get everybody involved. 10 of 15 from the line for the Eagles, 66%. They had half of the free throw attempts that Oregon Mountain got. That still got that big double-digit win. Turnovers a little bit more for Hobbs, 16 versus 12. But they made up for that with their defense, their transition game, their scoring, and the W in the books.
Well, and at the end of the day, that's the important thing. You get the big win. You win by 19. Now you get a rematch against La Cueva, who you saw earlier in the year, but you didn't have all your horses when they played at the APS Metro tournament. So now you just take a deep breath the rest of the weekend, and you get ready to head up to Albuquerque to take on La Cueva Wednesday morning.
Eric Story in that game. Eagles lost that one, as you mentioned, at the APS Metro Tournament. But 59-48 the final. Soria, 16 points, went 5 of 6 in the line, had 3 trays in the loss, 1 rebound for him as well. Josiah Clay was a double-double, 14 points and 10 rebounds, 6 of 8 from the line. So those two guys combined for 30 of the Hobbs Eagles, 48 points. Majority of the scoring. Beatty had 8 in the game. Of course, Malachi David was out the whole tournament, so he did not get to play against La Cueva Bears. Eagles only had 10 turnovers, though, so pretty clean, below their average on that. So in that loss. The guys they had to worry about, though, Drew Bramblett was their top scorer for La Cueva. In fact, he made his last 4 free throws in the fourth, had 20 points, 2 rebounds, and Hunter Butler was 17. He had 4 boards. Those two guys, Bramblett and Butler, the 2 Bs, combined for 37 points. Rebounding was definitely a factor. La Cueva winning that battle 35-30, kind of close, but still crashing the boards pretty hard for La Cueva. They had 3 more turnovers than the Eagles, 13-10, and we've seen games just like this one. Hobbs had more turnovers, but they get the win. Hopefully the rematch will be a victory for the Eagles to move on to the semifinals like last year.
Well, hopefully so. It'll be a 4-5 matchup. That's always one of those toss-ups, kind of like the 8-9s that we talked about in the pregame show. So hopefully will be a good one, as our only boys team going up there this year will be the Hobbs Eagles, but we'll have all the girls games starting bright and early Wednesday morning at 8 a.m.
And that's always the fun one. I mean, at the pit, you remember those games at the pit? Lovington would get those every year. It was
I'm trying not to.
It was like
yeah.
It was like a COVID game.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, you could hear the coaches coaching. You could hear the refs actually making calls on the court without having to just see signals. I mean, it was just, pins dropping in the arena and cold. I know the pit was always cold.
And so is Rio Rancho Event Center, where we'll start off, especially if they've got the hockey floor down with them getting ready for the goat heads to come in. So, yeah, it'll probably be a little uncomfortable, but it usually is. That's just the way it works at the Rio Rancho Event Center. And, well, it'll be what it is. But, hey, we're up there. That's the important thing.
And the fans can get all those posted.
We'll have everything posted on the front page of HobbsAmerica.com. We will only have audio and the score bug on the games. We are not allowed to video any of the games up there at the state tournament, whether it's at Rio Rancho or at the pit. They want to charge you a whole bunch of money to watch your kids and teams play, and they will not let any alternatives come in.
Not Facebook Live?
Well, you're not supposed to. Let's just leave it at that. If you want to do it, that's on you. But I did hear, surprisingly, at the wrestling tournament, they actually confiscated phones and threw people out at the state wrestling tournament for live streaming from that without paying the NMAA's preferred provider. Let's leave it at that. Because I haven't gotten my nasty gram this year, and I would like not to. So
Tatum, Jowl, Lovington, Hobbs girls, and Hobbs boys. That's a nice little. A couple of those teams playing #1 squad, so that's going to be some tough games.
It's going to be some tough games, but looking forward to it. All getting underway at 8 a.m. on Tuesday morning from the Rio Rancho Event Center. So with that, my friends, we will put a wrap on the opening round of the 2026 Nucinda Credit Union NMAA State Basketball Tournament, as Lee County will move 5 teams on and up into the tournament next week. Today's game exclusively on video from New Walmart Digital and One Radio Square Sports, with rights provided by the New Mexico Activities Association and purchased by New Walmart Broadcasting Company. So we will put a wrap on this one. Big thanks to all of our sponsors: Forest Tire Company, IPS Incorporated, R360, TDS Telecom, Lasco Construction, Hydrotech Services, Thriftway and La Tienda Grocery Stores, Hobbs Express, Eunice Pump and Supply, and DNC Electric. Hobbs Basketball also brought to you by Burrito Beast, NMR Pipeline, SunGuard Precision, New Mexico Junior College, The Coffee House, Rent-A-Center, and LECO. For Tiff and Evie Stuber, keeping an eye and an ear on things, running the circus back at One Radio Square. For Ty Friend, I'm TJ Miracle saying so long from Tasker Arena. This has been an exclusive presentation of Cool 95.7 in New Walmart Broadcasting Sports.